placed her hands around his shoulder, resting her head slightly against it. My sweetheart, my sunshine, my sugar, he said playfully. You see why I always talk about you. Florence smiled. I know, she said, trying to act serious, but failing. You are the best thing that has ever happened to me, he continued. Since I married you, I have never gone to work on an empty stomach. Never. You are the best. And you too, she replied warmly. You are the best, my baby.
Okay,
She
I'm live,
noticed
yeah?
his shirt was wrongly buttoned and shook his head with a soft laugh. Stand still, she said gently, fixing it. You don't even know how to dress properly again. I
Okay,
have
what's
you for
next?
that, it is.
Okay,
I
what's
love you,
next?
my queen, he said,
Michael,
looking
somebody's not
straight
talking to
into
you.
his eyes. And I love you too, my king,
When they're
she
talking to you, we
replied.
not hear.
He suddenly tickled her and she burst into laughter, trying to push him away.
Sorry for that. That
Oh,
was
baby, stop.
what is
You are going to be late, she said, still laughing. I don't care, he replied stubbornly. Mm, you will care when your boss start asking questions, she said, pulling out a chair for him to sit. Sit down and eat. He obeyed, smiling. Thank you. You are always thanking me for everything,
Michael
she
cannot go.
said, sitting opposite him.
Yeah,
Just eat your food. Uchenna inhaled deeply as he opened the
I
plate.
can hear from you like.
He murmured, already impressed. This smells amazing. He took a spoonful and closed his eyes briefly as he chewed. You are the best cook ever, he said. Florence smiled, resting her chin on her palm as she watched him eat. I am glad you like it, she said softly. Come and join me, he added. Let's eat together. She hesitated for a second. No, mine is in the kitchen. I will eat later. All right, he said, not pushing further. For a moment, the only sound in the room was the clicking of his spoon against the plate. Then suddenly he paused. Oh, that reminds me, he said casually. My mother called me yesterday. She said she will be coming today. Florence froze. You? You mean your mother is coming today? She asked slowly. Yes, he replied, taking a sip of water. I spoke with her last night. He looked up and noticed the change in her expression. Is there any problem, babe? Florence didn't answer immediately. Her fingers tightened slightly around each other. Uchenna sighed softly and reached for her hand. Baby, I know you are scared, he said gently. I know you don't want my mother here. It's not that, she quickly interrupted. I am not stopping her from coming to her son's house. That is not what I am saying. She paused. Then continued, her voice lower now. I am just worried because you and I both know your mother don't like me. Uchenna shook his head. No, don't say that. My mother likes you. She can be difficult sometimes. You need to understand my mother. Florence gave a faint, tired smile. For how long, Uchenna? She asked quietly. For how long will I keep understanding your mother? Uchenna held her hands tightly this time. For as long as you love me, he said. There was a brief silence. I promise you, she is a good woman, he added. You just haven't gotten to know her well, and she hasn't gotten to know you either. Florence looked at him, searching his face for reassurance. Slowly she nodded. Smile for me, he said. She forced a small smile. No, not that one, he said, shaking his head. I want your real smile. This time she smiled properly. He grinned. That's better, he said. Please, baby, when she comes, just try to relate well with her. I will try, she said. Thank you, my love. He wiped his mouth with a napkin and stood up. I have to go now. Thank you for the food. Why not finish it? She asked. I am okay. You are always overfeeding me. He joked, picking up his bag. He leaned forward and gave her a quick peck. See you later. As he turned to leave, baby, she called. He stopped and turned. I love you. A warm smile spread across his face. I love you more, he replied. Florence arrived at the market that morning. Her mind already set on what she wanted to prepare. Okra soup and gari, her mother-in-law favorite. She moved from one shop to another, selecting fresh okra, stockfish, meat, pepper, and everything she needed. She even went the extra mile choosing the best ingredient she could find. If she eats this, maybe things will change, she murmured to herself. After buying everything, she hurried back home. Immediately she got home, Florence went straight to the kitchen. She washed her hand carefully, almost nervously, as if the success of the meal depended on it. I have to get this right, she whispered. She cooked with full attention, adding enough palm oil, seasoning, salt, and spices. She stirred slowly, tasting the soup occasionally. When she finally tasted it again, she paused. Smile appeared on her lips. It's perfect. For a brief moment, hope rose in her chest. A few hours later, Florence sat in the living room, the television playing softly in the background. Everything in the house was already set and arranged. She placed a small plate of chin-chin beside her and took a bite, sipping her drink absent-mindedly. But her mind wasn't on the movie. She was waiting. Her eyes kept drifting to the door. Her heart felt uneasy. Then, knock, knock. Florence froze. Her heart skipped. It's her. She quickly stood up, wiped her hand, and forced a smile before rushing to the door. She opened it. Where is that shameless girl? The words hit her. Before she could even react, Ngozi stood at the door, her face tight with irritation, her eyes scanning Florence from head to toe. Mama, Florence said quickly, forcing happiness into her voice as she stepped forward to hug her. But Ngozi pushed her back immediately. Eh? Don't touch me with those coarse hands of yours, she snapped. What's wrong with you? Florence staggered slightly. Her smile disappeared instantly. I I am sorry, Mama, she said softly. You should learn some manners, you useless girl. Excuse me. Ngozi pushed past her and walked into the house like she owned it. The gate man followed behind, carrying her luggage. Ngozi sat down comfortably in her living room, as if she had always been there. Her eyes fell on the table. Without asking, she picked up the chin-chin and began to eat, washing it down with the drink Florence had been taking. She shook her head. So this is why you refuse to leave my son alone, Abby? So you can be enjoying his money. Florence stood quietly. Look at what you are enjoying. Chin chin and juice, Ngozi continued. That is what you are good at. Instead of going out to hustle like other women, you are here wasting my son's money. If only this stupid boy had listened to me. If only, she paused, then added coldly. But it's not too late. Florence swallowed hard. Her chest tightened, but she kept her composure. Mama, Uchenna told me you will be coming today. Honestly, I am happy to see you. I am not happy to see you. Ngozi cut in sharply. You are a witch, Ngozi continued. You have tied my son like a goat. He cannot even make decisions without you. Florence's eyes began to sting, but she blinked rapidly, holding back the tears. I don't even understand why you are still in this house, Ngozi went on. What are you doing here? She leaned forward, her voice dropping, more dangerous now. 1 full year, no child. Not even a miscarriage. Nothing. Each word felt like a slap. I don't even know if my son married a fellow man, she added cruelly. Tears gathered in Florence's eyes, but she refused to let them fall. She stood there, silent, enduring. Ngozi looked her up and down with disgust. Look at you. Look at how fat you have become. Look at your wig, your nails, your eyelashes. She hissed. I said it before. This woman is a witch, a demon. Florence's finger trembled slightly. This is why I never wanted my son to marry you, Ngozi continued. I wanted a good woman from the village, a woman who can take care of him and give him children. She pointed at Florence. Not this kind of woman that only know how to dress up and waste money. Florence could not take it anymore, but still she remained respectful. Mama, there is food for you in the kitchen, she said calmly, her voice shaking slightly. You can eat whenever you are ready. Without waiting for a response, she turned and walked away. Thunder fire you there, Ngozi shouted immediately. Florence stopped briefly, but didn't turn. So you want to poison me with your food, Ngozi continued loudly, so that after eating I will die, and you will take everything my son has. She stood up angrily. But the God I serve will never allow it. Florence walked faster. I am talking to you and you are walking away. Florence! Florence! Ngozi's voice rang through the dining room, sharp, commanding. She was already seated at the dining table, her legs crossed, her finger tapping impatiently on the table. Upstairs, Florence sat on the edge of the bed. Her eyes were swollen from crying. She heard Ngozi calling, clearly, but for a moment she didn't move. Then, Florence! The second call was louder, harsher. Florence closed her eyes briefly. She took a deep breath and wiped the remaining tears from her face. Slowly, she stood up. I have to go, she whispered. She walked downstairs. Mama, Florence said softly as she approached the dining table. Ngozi turned sharply. Her eyes narrowed. So you heard me calling you and you refused to answer me, she snapped. You have grown wings in my son's house. Florence quickly lowered her head. I am sorry, Mama. Keep your sorry to yourself. She pointed angrily at Florence. Do you even know you are a very useless woman? This is how you behave as a wife, as a daughter-in-law. Florence swallowed hard, but said nothing. So I came to my son's house, and you cannot even serve me food. Florence looked up, confused. Mama, what do you mean? I already told you there is food in the kitchen. Shut up, Ngozi yelled. Florence flinched. You expect me to go to the kitchen and serve myself? Is that what you are saying? God will punish you, Florence. She leaned forward. Her voice became cold, threatening. Before I close and open my eyes, I want to see my food here. Now. There was a brief silence. Okay, Mama, Florence said quietly. She turned and hurried to the kitchen. Even as she walked away, Ngozi continued, muttering under her breath. Useless girl. No training. No respect. A few minutes later, Florence returned, carrying a tray carefully. She placed the food gently in front of Ngozi. Your food, Mama. Ngozi didn't respond immediately. She opened the plate. The aroma of the okra rose into the air. For a split second, they were silent. Then Ngozi frowned. What is this? She said. Florence's heart dropped. She said nothing. You don't even know how to prepare ordinary gari, Ngozi muttered. Florence stood there, her finger tightening slightly. Ngozi took her first bite. She chewed slowly, then shook her head. Your mother did not train you well at all, because I don't understand what this is. Florence felt the words piercing through her chest, but she remained quiet, still, respectful, even in pain. Ngozi continued eating. occasionally shaking her head as if she was forcing herself. Florence stood there, not knowing whether to stay or leave, speak or remain silent. In that moment, she felt like a stranger in her own home. The sound of a car pulling into the compound echoed through the house. Ngozi, who had been sitting quietly in the living room, straightened up immediately. She adjusted her wrapper and sat properly, her face calm as if nothing had happened. The door opened. "I am home," Uchena's voice filled the house. My son," Ngozi called softly. Uchenna walked into the living room and smiled the moment he saw her. "Mama, you are here already," he said, dropping his bag and going to hug her. "My son," she replied, patting her back gently. "How was your journey?" he asked. "It was fine," she answered. "I have been here for a while." Uchenna nodded. "Where is Florence?" he asked casually. "She is around," Ngozi replied softly. Something about her tone made him pause, but he didn't say anything. "I will just go upstairs and freshen up," he said. Uchenna walked upstairs, losing his style as he approached the room. As soon as he opened the door, he froze. Florence was sitting on the floor beside the bed, her back against it, her face buried in her hands. She was crying deeply. "Babe," he called, rushing to her side. She quickly wiped her face, trying to hide it. "I am fine," she said. "No, you are not," Uchenna replied, kneeling in front of her. "What happened?" She shook her head. "It's nothing, baby," he said firmly, holding her shoulder. "Talk to me." That was all she needed. The tears came again. "Your mother," she said, her voice breaking. Uchenna's expression changed immediately. "What about my mother?" Florence looked at him, pain written all over her face. "She insulted me. She called me useless, a witch, said I can't give you a child." Uchenna jaw tightened. "She said I am wasting your money, that I am not fit to be your wife." Florence continued, crying harder now. "I tried to be nice. I cooked her favorite food. I welcomed her. But she..." Her voice broke completely. Uchenna stood up slowly. His face had darkened. "You were sure?" he asked, his voice low. Florence nodded, unable to speak. Something inside him snapped. Without another word, Uchenna turned and walked out. The next morning, Uchenna was getting ready for work. He had just finished his breakfast and was about to leave when Florence appeared, holding his office bag. "Baby," she called softly. Unknown to both of them, Ngozi was passing through the hallway. The moment she heard Florence call him baby, she stopped. Curious, she quietly tiptoed towards the and stood there, listening to every word. "Yes," Uchenna replied, looking at Florence. "I am going to the shop today," began softly, "just to check how things have been going." Uchenna frowned slightly. "Don't tell me you're trying to run away from my mother," he said. Florence sighed. "Baby, I already told you. Your mother came only to cause trouble for me. I told you she doesn't like me." Still insisted on her coming. Ngozi quietly shook her head. "Don't mind her," she muttered under her breath. "She's a foolish woman." Still listening, still hiding, Uchenna sighed. "Come on, she is my mother. I can't stop her from visiting. After all, she's not going to be around forever." He tried to reason with her. Florence looked at him with tired eyes. "Honey, I am not saying she shouldn't visit, but can't you see? She doesn't like me." She paused, her voice cracked. "Can't you see what her visit is doing to me?" Uchenna's tone became firmer. "And it's none of your business whether my mother likes you or not. Shouldn't even bother you." Florence stared at him in disbelief. "It is bothering me, Uchenna. How can I be married, yet my mother-in-law hates me? She's always bent on frustrating my life." Tears gathering in her eyes once again. Babe, please," Uchenna pleaded. "Let's not do this now. I have already told you. My mother will change." Florence slowly shook her head. "When will she change, Uchenna? This is exactly what you told me before, that she had changed, but she hasn't. She's only gotten worse." Her frustration finally spilled over. Uchenna's face hardened. "Are you trying to call my mother wicked?" No, Florence answered immediately. That's not what I mean. Baby, please, try to understand me. Uchenna shook his head. No, there is nothing to understand. You just made it clear to me that my mother is very wicked. He took a step closer. Look, baby, my mother not liking you doesn't make her wicked. He paused, then delivered the words that pierced Florence's heart. After all, why did you marry me if you know my mother hated you? His voice echoed through the room. Florence flinched. Uchenna, she whispered. Her body trembled. What is it? He shouted in frustration. Uchenna, you are misunderstanding everything. I married you because I love you, not because of your mother. By now, tears were streaming freely down her face. Uchenna's jaw tightened. Then focus on who you came here for and leave my mother alone. He picked up his bag. At that single face, excuse me, Florence felt a sharp pain stood through her chest. She turned, ran into the bedroom, slammed the door behind her, and collapsed onto the bed. Tears poured down her face as yesterday insult replayed over and over in her mind. Ngozi's cruel words, her accusation, the painful reminder that she has not given birth, the hatred in her mother-in-law's eyes. She didn't know whether to cry or scream. Meanwhile, Uchenna left the house. His mind conflicted. He knew his mother's behavior was wrong, but he also believed he had to protect his marriage without causing an even bigger fight. 30 minutes later, Ngozi came downstairs. Her eyes scanned at every corner of the house, as if she were searching for mistake. Even though everything was perfectly neat, she ran her hands over the sofa, then pretended it was dusty. She shook her head. I said it. This girl doesn't know anything. What kind of wife would still be sleeping at this time? She looked around again. Who knows if she even gave my son breakfast before he left for work. She hissed in disgust. My son has really suffered in this witch hands. She paused. A wicked smile crept across her face. But don't worry, I will deal with her today. With that, she headed upstairs. Where is that witch? Florence! Florence! Her voice echoed through the house. No one answered. Ngozi walked into the kitchen, picked up a bowl of water, then marched straight towards Florence's bedroom. She quietly opened the door. Florence was lying peacefully on the bed, fast asleep, completely unaware that someone was standing over her. Without a second thought, Ngozi poured the entire bowl of water over her. Florence jumped up instantly. Ah! Cold water dripped from her hair, her face, her clothes. She gasped in shock. Mama, she cried, shivering as she wiped her face. Mama will kill you, dear. Ngozi screamed. Did you hear me? Mama will kill you. Foolish woman. What are you still doing on the bed at this time of the day? She pointed angrily at Florence. Did you see why I said you are lazy and useless, sleeping away your life, your future, your destiny? She moved even closer. Don't you know the time you spent sleeping should be used to make babies for me? And here you are, wasting it. Florence looked at her, still shocked, still shivering. Her voice was barely above a whisper. Mama, is that why you poured water on me? Ngozi's eyes widened. If you talk again, I will go and get another bowl of water and pour it on you, witch, she continued shouting. Now tell me, how many married women do you know who sleeps at this time of the day? She waved her hands dramatically. Look at my son's house, dirty. Look at the kitchen, untidy. A few moments later, Ngozi walked outside. She slowly scanned the compound, looking around as though she expected to find something wrong. Then she turned to Florence. See this compound? She spread her hands widely. This is what I want you to sweep. Every corner. She pointed across the large compound. Start now. Florence froze. She looked around. Her heart sank. The compound was huge. It stretches far beyond the house, with flowers bed, walkways, and endless corners. She swallowed nervously. But Mama, It's Okoro who usually sweep the compound. Ngozi's eyes narrowed immediately. She stepped closer. What did you just say? Okoro swept it. She scoffed. And you, my son's wife, think you don't need to do anything? She pointed towards the broom. Sweep it now, witch. No excuses. Florence bit her lip. Silently, she picked up the broom. Her hands trembled. She began sweeping slowly, trying to make every stroke count. The morning sun had already become hot. Sweat rolled down her face. Her arms began to ache, but she dared not stop. Nearby, Okoro the gatesman leaned quietly against the fence. He watched everything. His heart went out to Florence, but he knew better than to interfere. Ngozi was feared by everyone. Even he could not challenge her. Ngozi folded her hands, walking slowly around the compound. Her eyes followed Florence everywhere, like a prison guard watching a prisoner. Suddenly, no, no, that corner is still dirty. Move properly, faster. Don't waste my time. Florence swept harder. Her back hurt, her shoulder burned. Every shot from Ngozi made her feel smaller, more helpless. Still, she kept going. Then another shot. Lazy woman. Do you know how many married women sweep their compound every day? My sons deserve a wife who works hard, not someone laying in bed while others do the work. Florence lowered her head. She gripped the broom tightly. She felt completely hopeless. She wanted to run. She wanted to disappear, but there was nowhere to go. Okoro quietly shook his head. Poor girl, he thought. She is doing all this work and getting no respect at all. Ngozi circled her once again, inspecting every inch of the compound. No, that place is still dirty. Why is this so messy? Move your hands properly. Faster, faster. Florence tried even harder. Her hands were shaking now. Her legs felt weak. Her entire body ached. Still, she continued sweeping. She didn't dare stop. She only wanted to survive the day, without giving Ngozi another reason to punish her. Suddenly, Ngozi shouted again. Do you think sympathy will save you? No. No one is here to pity you. You will learn today. That laziness is not allowed in my son's house. Florence swallowed hard. Her throat was dry. She kept her head down. She kept sweeping. The compound was enormous. The sun was unforgiving. And Ngozi seemed to be everywhere, watching her like a hawk. Florence knew it was going to be a very long day. Florence was still sweeping when Ngozi walked closer once again. She folded her arms, watching Florence like a hawk. Is that how you sweep? She scoffed. You think you are doing something, useless girl. Florence said nothing. Her hands were already weak, but she kept sweeping quietly. After a while, Ngozi hissed loudly. Leave that one. I said leave it. Florence quickly dropped the broom. She stood up, breathing heavily. Follow me, Ngozi ordered. Without waiting for a reply, she turned and walked back into the house. She didn't even look back to see whether Florence was following. Florence wiped her hands on her wrapper and hurried after her. As soon as they entered the kitchen, Ngozi stopped. She looked around dramatically, then pointed across the room. Look at this kitchen, she shouted. Very dirty, very, very dirty. Florence looked around in confusion. The kitchen was already spotless. She had washed the plates the night before and arranged everything neatly. Mama, she said softly, I cleaned everywhere yesterday. Ngozi turned sharply. Are you arguing with me? Florence immediately lowered her head. No, Mama. Good, Ngozi snapped. Because you will go and rewash all these plates. She pointed towards the neatly arranged dishes. Bring them down. Every single one of them. Wash them again. And then she pointed at the floor and the kitchen cabinet. And scrub this kitchen until it's shiny. Florence's heart sank. Her body was already aching from sweeping. Every muscle cried out for rest, but quietly she nodded. Yes, Mama. She reached for the plates one after another. She carefully brought them down from the rack. The sound of plate clicking echoed through the kitchen. Plate after plate after plate. Ngozi stood at the doorway, watching her every move, her hand folded across her chest, her face hard. "Make sure you wash them properly," she warned. "I don't want to see any dirt. If I find one stain, you will wash everything again." Florence silently turned on the tap. Cold water flowed over her already tired hands. She winced slightly, but she continued. Plate after plate, cup after cup, spoon after spoon. Time crawled by. Her back ached. Her legs felt weak. Her eyes burned from lack of sleep. Still, she didn't stop. She kept washing. She kept scrubbing. She kept enduring. And after some time, Ngozi walked back into the kitchen. Without saying a word, she picked up one of the plates Florence had just washed. She held it close to her eyes, examining it carefully. Then she frowned. Her face expression darkened. She slowly turned towards Florence, holding up the plate. "What is this?"
So you have grown wings now? You can talk back at me in my own son's house? Eh? 2 hours. If you are not back in this house in 2 hours, don't bother coming back. Wake up, you lazy girl. What? Stop! This is what you
This
deserve.
story is
Why,
the
please?
continuation of Living with My Wicked Mother-in-Law. If you haven't watched it, go and watch it before you watch this one, so you can follow and understand the story very well.
So you have grown wings now? You can talk back at me in my own son's house? Eh? 2 hours. If you are not back in this house in 2 hours, don't bother coming back. Wake up, you lazy girl. What? Stop! This is what you
This
deserve.
story
Why,
is the
please?
continuation of Living with My Wicked Mother-in-Law. If you haven't watched it, go and watch it before you watch this one, so you can follow and understand the story very well. Now, let's continue. After hours of working, Florence finally finished cleaning the kitchen. Everywhere was shiny, but her body was weak. Her back ached, her hands were sore, and her eyes felt heavy. She stood still for a moment, trying to catch her breath. Ngozi looked around slowly, touching things here and there. Manage it like that, she muttered. At least it looks better than before. Florence said nothing. She just nodded quietly. Slowly, she walked to her room. Each step felt heavy. When she got inside, she sat on the bed for a moment, stared into space. "I need to go to the shop," she whispered to herself. She forced herself to stand up and change her clothes. Her movements were slow because of the pains in her body. After dressing up, she adjusted her hair and wiped her face, trying to look normal. Then she stepped out to meet Ngozi. This is story by Favour. Each story has a heartbeat. Let's continue. "Mama, I want to go to the shop now," she said respectfully. Ngozi turned and looked at her from head to toe, her eyes full of suspicion. "To the shop?" she repeated slowly. Then she laughed dryly. "Or is it your boyfriend you're going to see?" Florence's eyes widened in shock. "Mama, I don't have any boyfriend." "Shut up," Ngozi snapped. "Do you think I don't know girls like you? Dressing up like this, going out every day. Who are you trying to impress?" Florence shook her head quickly. "Mama, please, I am only going to the shop. You can even ask. I said, shut up. Ngozi cut her off again. You think I am a fool? You want to go and be moving around with Mel while my son is busy working? Tears gathered in Florence's eyes, but she held them back. I am not doing anything wrong, Mama, she said softly. Ngozi stared at her for a second, then waved her hand dismissively. Go, she said suddenly. Go wherever you want to go. Florence was surprised, but she remained quiet. But listen to me, Ngozi added, her voice turning cold. If you don't come back on time, you will see another side of me. Florence swallowed hard. Yes, Mama. I am giving you a time, Ngozi continued. 2 hours.
Hours.
If you are
If
not
you are
back
not
in
back
this
in this
house
house in
in
2 hours,
2 hours,
don't bother
she
coming back.
paused and stepped closer, her eyes burning with anger. Don't bother coming back at all. Florence had skip. Yes, Mama, I will be back, she said quickly. Ngozi stepped aside, allowing her to pass. Florence picked up her bag and walked towards the door. Her legs were weak, but she kept moving. As she stepped outside, the gateman looked at her. Their eyes met briefly. He could see the pain on her face, the tiredness in her body. Madam, he said softly. Sorry. Florence forced a weak smile. It's okay, she replied quietly. She walked out of the compound, the hot sun hitting her face, but for the first time that day, she felt a small sense of relief. At least, for a few hours, she was free from Ngozi. But deep down, she knew she had to return in 2 hours. Instead of going straight to the shop, Florence turned into another street and headed to her friend's Sophia's house. She walked slowly, her body still aching from all the work she had done. Her mind was heavy, filled with everything Ngozi had said and done to her. When she got to the gate, she knocked softly. Who is that? Sophia's voice came from inside. It's me, Florence, she replied weakly. The gate opened immediately. Florence, Sophia said with a bright smile. Ah, it's been a while. Come in. She pulled her into a warm hug. But as soon as she stepped back and looked at Florence's face, her smile faded. Are you okay? She asked concerned. Florence forced a small smile. I am fine. Sophia didn't believe her, but she said nothing. She led her inside and made her sit down. Sit, sit. You look tired. Let me bring you something to drink, Sophia said as she stood up. No, please, I am fine, Florence said quickly. Are you sure? Sophia asked, turning back to look at her. Florence nodded. Yes, I don't want anything. Sophia slowly sat down beside her, studying her face carefully. Florence, what is going on? She asked softly. You don't look happy at all. Florence stayed quietly for a few seconds. Her eyes dropped to the floor. It's my mother-in-law, she said slowly. Sophia leaned closer. What about her? Florence sighed deeply. I am not even supposed to be telling you this, but you are my best friend. I don't have anyone else to talk to. Sophia held her hand gently. You can tell me anything. Florence took a deep breath. She came to our house yesterday, and since then, she had been treating me very badly, she said, her voice shaking. How? Sophia asked, her face tightening. She insults me, call me names, say I'm useless, say I don't know anything, Florence said, her eyes filling with tears. Sophia frowned. What? Just like that? She even poured water on me this morning because I was sleeping, she added. When Florence got back into the room, she could not rest. She sat on the bed, then stood up, then sat again, then sat again. Her mind refused to be still. Everything Sophia told her kept playing in her head, like a voice that would not go away. Stand your ground. Don't let anyone intimidate you. You are not a slave. Florence placed her hand on her head. I am scared, she whispered. She stood up, and began to walk slowly around the room. What if Uchenna say I have changed? What if he starts hating me? I don't want that. I don't want to lose my husband. But his mother, she muttered, her face slowly hardened. She is making my life miserable. Florence sat down again, this time more firmly. She stared at the floor, thinking deeply. If I continue to keep quiet, things will get worse, she said slowly. Her breathing became heavier. I might even lose my husband in the process. She shook her head. No, no, I don't want to continue like this. She wiped her face and sat upright. I have to speak up. I can't continue to live like a servant in my own husband's house. Her voice became stronger. No, not anymore. She stood up. I have to wise up, know my right, and stand my ground. She took a deep breath. This is my house, my husband's house. I will not allow anybody to make me feel uncomfortable again. Just then, Florence! Ngozi's voice echoed from downstairs. Florence froze. Her heart jumped. Florence! Ngozi called again, louder this time. Fear gripped her instantly. Her hands became cold, but slowly she clenched her feet. No, she whispered. I must face her today. Her eyes became firm. Today, this rubbish will stop. Ngozi called again, more aggressively. Florence, are you deaf? Florence took a deep breath, then hurried downstairs. She met Ngozi standing in the sitting room, her face already filled with anger.
Yes.
Yes, Mama, you called me, Florence said respectfully. Ngozi looked at her from head to toe, then hissed. Florence, do you know you are a very stupid girl? She said. In fact, you are very mad. Florence blinked in shock. Mama, what did I do you again? She asked, trying to stay calm. Why are you calling me names? Shut up your mouth, Ngozi shouted. Let me talk, you useless girl. Something inside Florence snapped. Mama,
Mama,
don't tell me to shut up, she said, her voice suddenly
What have I
faint.
done to you that
Don't
you
tell
keep
me to
insulting
shut
me
up.
like this?
What have I
What kind
done
of
to
rubbish
you
is this?
that you keep insulting me like this? What kind of rubbish is this? Ngozi froze. Her eyes widened. Wait, Florence, she said slowly, stepping closer. Am I the one you are shouting at? Florence didn't move. Ngozi's voice rose. So you have grown wings now.
So you
You
have
can
grown
talk
wings
back
now?
at me in
You
my
can
own
talk
son's
back at me
house.
in my own son's house?
She rushed forward and raised her hands to slap her. But Florence quickly grabbed her hands mid-air. Both of them froze. Florence's voice dropped low, but it was strong. Don't you ever do that again, Mama. Ngozi stared at her in disbelief. Don't you ever raise your hand on me, Florence continued, because next time you will not like what will happen. She pushed her hand away. Ngozi staggered back slightly, completely shocked. She had never seen this side of Florence before. This quiet girl she thought she could control was standing in front of her like a different person. Florence's chest was raising and falling fast. Mama, she said, trying to steady her voice. This is my husband's house. She pointed lightly at the ground. My home. Ngozi said nothing. Why not go to your own husband's house? Florence continued. What do you gain by trying to destroy my marriage? Tears gathered in her eyes, but she didn't stop. I know you don't like me. I know, but making my life unbearable is not acceptable. Her voice became firm. This is the last time I will warn you. If you don't like me, stay on your own. Let me stay on my own. At that exact moment, they heard the sound of a car outside. Vroom! Both of them turned slightly. Uchenna was back. In a split second, Ngozi's expression changed. Before Florence could even understand what was happening, Ngozi suddenly screamed and fell to the ground. My Lego! My
My leg,
leg,
oh!
oh, she
She wants to
cried
kill me,
loudly.
oh! She pushed me,
Ewo,
she
she
pushed me!
wants to
She
kill
pushed
me,
me,
oh.
ow!
Florence stepped back, confused.
My
Mama,
leg, oh!
what?
My
She
leg,
pushed
oh!
me.
She wants to
She
kill me,
pushed
oh!
me.
She
Ngozi
pushed me, she
continued,
pushed me! She
rolling on
pushed
the
me,
floor
ow!
dramatically. Florence stood frozen. What's going on? She whispered. The gate opened quickly. Uchenna rushed inside. Mama, he shouted as he saw her on the floor. He ran to her immediately. What happened? He asked, panic all over his face. Then his eyes landed on Florence, standing there, shocked and speechless. Mama, what happened? He asked again. Ngozi heard her waist and cried louder. Your wife pushed me, she said weakly. An hour later, Florence arrived at Sophia's house. The moment Sophia saw her, she rushed forward and put her into a tight hug. Florence, she said, what happened? You look terrible. Florence broke down immediately in her hands. Sophia, she cried. Sophia gently led her inside and made her to sit down. Talk to me, she said softly. Tell me everything. Florence wiped her tears and began to speak slowly, painfully. She told her everything, how she tried to stay calm, how she remembered Sophia's advice, how she finally spoke up, how Ngozi twisted everything, how Uchenna slapped her. Her voice kept breaking as she spoke. And it didn't even stop me when I was leaving the house, she cried. He just stood there and watched me leave. Sophia's face tightened with anger, but she controlled herself. Florence, calm down, she said, holding her hands. Don't think too much about it right now. Florence shook her head. How can I not think about it? She cried. My marriage, everything. Sophia squeezed her hand. Listen to me, she said firmly. If your husband truly loves you, he will come back for you. Florence said nothing. Tears kept rolling down her cheeks. I don't know, she whispered. Sophia stood up. Come, let me get you something to eat. Florence shook her head immediately. I am not hungry. You have to eat something, Sophia insisted. I am not hungry, Florence said. Sophia sighed. Okay, at least rest. She led Florence to the guest room. Lie down and try to sleep, she said gently. Florence nodded slowly. She lay on the bed without even changing her clothes, without even taking a bath. She just stared at the ceiling. Her mind went straight to Uchenna, their laughter, their late night talks, the way he used to hold her. Fresh tears rolled down. Is this how everything will end? She whispered. Will I go back to my parents' house like this? Suddenly, she felt a strange wave in her body. Her stomach turned. She quickly sat up. She tried to stand up. Suddenly, a wave of dizziness washed over her. She held the edge of the bed until it passes. Maybe I am just exhausted, she whispered. She lay back down, unaware that something much bigger was happening inside her. Her stomach turned again. Ah, she heard her mouth. Before she could control it, she rushed into the bathroom and started vomiting. At that moment, Sophia was coming to check on her. Florence, she called, entering the room. She heard the sound from the bathroom and rushed in. Ah, what is happening? She saw Florence bent over, vomiting. Sophia's eyes widened. She stepped closer, watching carefully. Then suddenly, Florence, she said slowly. Florence raised her mouth and looked at her weakly. Yes, Sophia smiled slightly. You are pregnant, Florence blinked. What? She said immediately. No, that's not true. Sophia folded her hands confidently. My dear, you are pregnant. Florence shook her head. It's a lie. I have not even gone to the hospital. Sophia smiled. You don't need hospital to know this one, she said. Trust me. Florence sat down slowly on the bed. Her mind went blank. And you think I should be happy about that? She asked quietly. Sophia looked at her seriously. Of course, she said. Is this not what you have been praying for? Florence looked away. Tears gathered again. So, who will be there for me? She asked. Who will be the father? Sophia moved closer and held her shoulder. Florence, calm down, she said gently. Your husband will come back. I am sure of it. Florence didn't respond. Come, Sophia said, trying to lighten the mood. This is a good news. We need to celebrate small. Florence gave a weak smile, but her heart was still heavy. Meanwhile, back at Uchena's house, Uchena lay on the bed, wide awake, the scenario playing in his mind. How he remained standing in the sitting room, staring at the door Florence had just walked through. He remembered how he was thinking of going after her, but before he could take a step towards the door, his mother's voice broke his thought. He stood there, torn between his wife and his mother. He turned from one side of the bed to another. Sleep refused to come. His eyes moved to Florence's side of the bed. Empty. He slowly stretched his hand and touched the space where she usually slept. Cold. Lonely. I shouldn't have done that, he whispered. Her face flashed in his mind. The way she looked at him after the slap, the pain in her eyes. He shut his eyes tight. I messed up, he said. He sat up suddenly. I should go and bring her back. He stood up, then paused. His mother's voice echoed in his head. He slowly sat back down again, confused, torn. The next morning, Ngozi sat comfortably in the sitting room, a plate of food in her hand. She ate happily, relaxed, satisfied. Finally, the house was quiet. No one to question her, no one to challenge her. She smiled to herself. Just then, her phone rang. She picked it up. Hello? Mama? A voice cried from the other end. Ngozi sat up immediately. Ah, Adora, why are you crying? She asked. Mama, it is my mother-in-law, Adora cried. She has been frustrating my life, insulting me, maltreating me right in front of my husband, and he did nothing. Ngozi's smile faded slowly. Mama, as I am talking to you now, I am going back to the house. Ngozi sat quietly. After the call has ended, she stared into space. For the first time, Florence's tears-filled face flashed through her mind. She lowered her head. What have I done? She whispered. Her hands she knew she couldn't carry the lie any longer. Ngozi stood up immediately, her face full of regret. She walked straight to Uchena's room and knocked. Uchenna opened the door slowly. His eyes were red. Clearly hadn't slept well. Mama, what is it? He asked. Ngozi looked at him for a moment, then lowered her eyes. My son, we need to go and find your wife. Uchenna frowned. What do you mean? Ngozi took a deep breath. She did not push me, she said quietly. Uchenna froze. What? He said confused. Ngozi swallowed hard. She did not touch me. I lied. Silence filled the room. Uchenna stared at her, his face slowly changing from confusion to shock to anger. Mama, he said slowly. What are you saying? Ngozi wiped her face. I did it because I don't like her, she admitted. I was angry. I wanted to turn you against her. Uchenna stepped back. So, everything you said was a lie, he asked. Ngozi nodded slowly. Regret was written all over her face now. But now I regret it, she said quickly. I regret everything I did to her. I didn't know it would go this far. Uchenna ran his hand through his hair, frustrated. Mama, why? He asked. Why would you do something like this? Ngozi's voice broke. I don't even know. Jealousy, anger. I just don't want her. Uchenna shook his head. You made me slap my wife, he said, his voice heavy with guilt. Tears gathered in his eye. I hurt her because of a lie. Ngozi moved closer. My son, that is why we must go and bring her back, she said, before it's too late. Uchenna didn't waste time again. I am going now, he said, grabbing his key. Ngozi followed quickly. Meanwhile, at Sophia's house, Florence was at the guest room, arranging her clothes slowly. Her movements were weak. Her mind was still far away. She picked one cloth, folded it, then stopped. Uchenna's face came into her mind again. Just then, her phone started ringing. She quickly turned. Her heart skipped. She rushed to the bed and picked up the phone. It was Uchenna. Her breath caught. A small smile appeared on her face immediately, mixed with pain. He is calling, she whispered. Her hands trembled. For a moment, she wanted to pick it immediately, but she stopped. No, she said softly. She let it ring once, twice, three times. Her heart was beating fast. Then finally, she picked the call. She didn't speak immediately. She just held the phone to her ear. Then, Florence, Uchenna's voice came through. Low, heavy, different, but she stayed quiet, waiting. Florence, Uchenna's voice came again, low and shaky. I am sorry, he said quickly. I am very, very sorry. Please forgive me. Florence said nothing. Tears were already rolling down her cheeks, but she kept quiet. I made a mistake, Uchenna continued. A big mistake. I shouldn't have raised my hand on you. I shouldn't have believed everything without listening to you. Florence closed her eyes tightly. I know I hurt you, he said, but please forgive me. There was a pause. Then he added, his voice breaking, Mama has told me everything. She confessed you didn't do anything. Florence gripped on the phone tighter. I am sorry for everything she did to you too, he continued. We are both sorry. Please come back home. Please. Florence opened her eyes slowly. Her face changed. The pain, the anger, the disappointment, everything came rushing back. Without saying a single word, she ended the call. She dropped the phone on the bed and turned away quickly. I am not that sheep, she whispered to herself, trying to be strong, but immediately tears burst out again. Her body shook as she cried. Meanwhile, Uchenna looked at his phone. The call has ended. He sighed deeply. She cut the call. He said quietly. Ngozi, who was beside him, looked worried. What did she say? She asked. Uchenna shook his head. She didn't say anything. She just ended it. He stood still for a moment, thinking. Then suddenly, Sophia. Ngozi looked at him. Sophia? She repeated. Yes. Uchenna said quickly. That is the only place she could have gone. He grabbed his car key immediately. Let's go. Ngozi followed him without wasting time. Florence stood quietly in the room after speaking. Her chest was still heavy, but something inside her had softened. She looked at Uchenna, then at his mother. Both of them were still on their knees, begging, crying, broken. For a moment, she said nothing. Sophia watched her closely, allowing her to decide on her own. Florence took a deep breath. Then, slowly, I forgive you. Uchenna lifted his head immediately. What? He asked, as if he didn't hear well. Florence looked at him again. I forgive you, she repeated, her voice calm but firm. Tears rolled down Uchenna's cheek instantly. He stood up quickly and rushed to her. Florence, he said, pulling her into a tight hug. Florence hesitated for a second, then slowly hugged him back. Ngozi also stood up crying. My daughter, thank you, she said, joining them and hugging Florence. I am so sorry. I will never treat you that way again. Florence closed her eyes. All I want is peace, she said softly. You will have it, Ngozi replied immediately. I promise you. Sophia smiled quietly from where she stood. Florence turned to her and walked over. Thank you, Sophia, she said, holding her hands. If not for you, I don't know what I would have done. Sophia smiled warmly. That is what friends are for, she said. Just be happy. That is all I want. Florence nodded. I will come and visit, she added. You better, Sophia replied playfully. They both smiled. A few minutes later, Florence left with Uchenna and Ngozi. This time, she wasn't walking away in pain. She was returning with peace. Back at the house, everything felt different. The same house, but a different atmosphere. Calm, quiet, peaceful. Ngozi moved around gently, no longer shouting, no longer complaining. She even brought water for Florence to drink. Take my daughter, she said softly. Florence looked at her, surprised but smiled. Thank you, Mama. Uchenna watched them both, relief all over his face. That night, for the first time in a long while, there was peace in the house. No shouting, no tension, just silence and calm. A few days later, Florence sat in the room, thinking. Her hand rested on her stomach. She remembered everything that happened that day at Sophia's house. The vomiting, the weakness. She smiled silently. Then she stood up. I think it's time, she said softly. She walked to the sitting room where Uchenna and Ngozi were. They were both there. Mama, Uchenna, she called gently. They both looked up. Yes, Uchenna said. Florence hesitated for a second. Then she smiled. I have something to tell you. Ngozi leaned forward. What is it? Florence took a deep breath. I am pregnant. For a second, there was silence. What? Uchenna shouted in excitement. Ngozi stood up immediately. Are you serious? She asked, her face lightening up. Florence nodded, smiling shyly. Yes. Uchenna rushed to her and carried her up happily. Thank you, he shouted. Thank you. He hugged her tightly. Ngozi clapped her hands in joy. Ah, my grandchild, she said happily. God has finally done it. She rushed and hugged Florence too. My daughter, thank you, thank you. Tears of joy filled her eyes. This is good news, very good news. The whole house was filled with laughter. Happiness returned fully. Love came back stronger. Florence moved around freely now, her face glowing. Ngozi treated her with care, like her own daughter, always asking, my daughter, have you eaten? Come and sit. Don't stress yourself. Uchenna didn't joke with her at all. He stayed close, making sure she was okay. The house that was once filled with tension was now filled with laughter. Everything had truly changed. One morning, Ngozi came out of her room with a small bag. Florence noticed immediately. Mama, where are you going? She asked. Uchenna also looked up from where he was sitting. Ngozi smiled softly. My children, I am going back to the village. Florence stood up. So soon? She asked. Ngozi nodded. Yes, I have stayed enough. And besides, she paused, looking at Florence warmly. This is your home. You need your space. Florence felt emotional. But Mama, you can still stay, she said. Ngozi shook her head gently. No, my daughter, I don't want to disturb your peace again. Uchenna walked closer. Mama, you are not disturbing anybody, he said. Ngozi smiled. I know, but I have learned my lesson. She held Florence's hand. This is your husband, your home. She looked at both of them and smiled. Take care of each other. The end. The wedding was over. The last guest had just left. I locked the front door, turned around, and smiled at the man I had just paid to pretend to be my husband. Thank you, I
Thank
said.
you.
You really
You
saved
really
me
saved
today.
me today.
I handed him the
The deal
rest
is
of his
over.
money. The
You can
deal
leave
is
now.
over. You can now leave. He looked at the envelope, slipped it into his pocket, then calmly took off his jacket, folded it, sat down on my sofa, and smiled. I don't think I am
I
leaving.
don't think I am
I
leaving.
laugh. Very funny. The smile didn't change. I am serious. For a moment, I couldn't breathe. What do you mean you're serious? He looked straight into my eyes and said something that
Why would I
made my
leave my
blood
wife's
run cold.
house?
Why would I leave my wife's house? I froze because this man wasn't my husband. He was a complete stranger, a stranger I had paid to marry me. And at that moment, I realized I had made the biggest mistake of my life. But to understand how an educated 35-year-old woman ended up marrying a man she barely knew, we need to go back 3 months. Now, sit back, relax, and enjoy this story. My name is Gloria. I am a 35-year-old. I have a good job. I own my own car. I rent a comfortable apartment in Lagos. My life looked complete, but according to many people, there was one thing missing: a husband. Every phone call from home, from my mother, felt the same. After we had exchanged pleasantries, the next question would always be, have you met anyone yet? My daughter, you're not getting any younger. I would force a laugh. We have talked about this before. I know, she would say, but I am your mother. I am worried. The conversation will continue for a few more minutes. Then we do hang up. The next week, the same questions. My aunties were no different. Every family gathering became an interview. So, any good news? When are we buying our shribi? Don't tell me you're still waiting. At first, I laughed with them. Then I started making excuses. Sometimes I claimed I was working. Sometimes I said I wasn't feeling well just to avoid family gathering. The truth was I was tired. Not because I hated marriage, but because I was tired of being made to feel like my life had no value without it. Still, I kept hoping the question would stop. They didn't. Instead, they became worse. Then, one Saturday morning, my younger cousin wedding invitation reminded me that I couldn't avoid my family forever. I looked at the golden invitation card on my dining table. My cousin, Amara, she was 7 years younger than me. I was happy for her. She deserved the happiness. But deep down, I already knew what that wedding would become of me. But I had no idea that before the day ended, I would make the biggest mistake, or perhaps the best decision of my life. The morning of Amara wedding, I stood in front of my wardrobe for almost 20 minutes, not because I didn't have clothes to wear, but because I didn't feel like going anymore. My phone rang. It was my best friend, Tulu. Have you
Have
left?
you left?
Not
Not
yet.
yet.
I know
I
that
know that
voice, Tulu
voice.
said. I
I really
signed.
don't feel like
I really
going.
don't feel like
You
going.
have
You
to.
have
She's your
to.
cousin.
She is
I
your
know.
cousin. I know.
And
And
besides,
beside, she said, trying to lighten my mood, you
you've
have
already
already
spent
spent
money
money
on your
on your
dress.
dress. That made me laugh. You will be
You'll
fine,
be
she
fine.
continued.
Smile,
Smile,
eat good
eat
food, and
good
come back
food,
home.
and come
And
back
just me.
home. And
You
just
two
me.
like
You
gist.
too like
Bifonko.
gist. Before Uncle, we both laughed and she hung up. After the call ended, I looked at myself in the mirror. I picked out my favorite red dinner gown. It wasn't too flashy, just elegant. I carefully brushed my shoulder length hair until it fell neatly behind my shoulder. Then I applied my favorite red lipstick. Red had always been my color. Whenever I wore it, I felt confident, even on days when I wasn't. I wore my gold earrings, picked up my small golden handbag from the dressing table, sprayed my perfume twice, smiled at my reflection, and whispered, You
You
can do
can do
this. A
this.
few minutes later, I got into my car and drove to the event center. The parking lot was already full. Music echoed from inside the hall. I stepped out of my car. I could hear people laughing. For a brief moment, I wish I had stayed at home. Inside the hall looked beautiful. Fresh flowers decorated every table. The hall was filled with gold and white decorations. Family members moved from one table to another, greeting guests. The smell of jollof rice, fried chicken, and grilled fish filled the air. Then someone saw me. Gloria! I turned. It was my aunt. She hugged me warmly. I am so happy you came. Thank you, Auntie. Before I could even sit down, she looked behind me, then back at me. You came alone? I smiled politely. Yes. Oh, she nodded slowly. I thought maybe this time you would surprise us. I forced another smile. Before I could answer, another aunt joined us. Gloria, you're looking beautiful. Thank you. She looked around. Where is your husband to be? The two women laughed. I laughed too, but mine wasn't real. As I walked away, I heard one whisper to the other, such a beautiful woman. I wonder what is taking so long. Every word landed heavily in my chest. I pretended not to hear. The wedding ceremony began. The bride walked in. Everyone stood up. Amara looked stunning. She looked so beautiful. I smiled. I genuinely smiled. She deserved every bit of happiness she was feeling. After the vows, guests moved outside for photographs while everyone gathered around the couple. Somebody called my name. Big sis. I turned. It was Amara, still wearing her wedding gown. She hugged me tightly. I am so happy you came. I wouldn't miss this for anything, I said. She held my hands. Then she smiled innocently. Don't worry, sis. You are next. People standing around us heard her. Someone said, Amen. And another voice added, By this time next year, we will be here again for Gloria. Everyone laughed. I smiled too, but inside me, something broke. It wasn't what Amara said. She meant well. It was the way everyone looked at me, like my life was waiting to begin, like everything I had achieved meant nothing because I wasn't married. For the rest of the celebration, I wasn't really there. I answered greetings. I smiled for photographs. I congratulated the couple, but my mind was somewhere else. Later that evening, I quietly left without saying goodbye to many people. As soon as I entered my car, I locked the door. The smile disappeared from my face. I rested both my hands on the steering wheel. Then I cried. Not because my cousin got married. I was genuinely happy for her. I cried because for the first time I felt invisible. It didn't matter that I had built a good life for myself. It didn't matter that I worked hard. It didn't matter that I was kind. All everyone seemed to see was a woman without a husband. After a few minutes, my phone rang. It was Tolu. Hello, how did it go? I didn't answer. Gloria, I finally spoke. I am tired. What happened? They did it again. Oh no. Tolu remained quiet. She knew me well enough to let me speak. I wiped my tears. Then I laughed, not because anything was funny, but because I had reached a point where I don't know whether to cry or laugh. Tolu, what if I got married? She laughed immediately. To who? I don't know. You don't know. What if I paused? What if I hired someone? Then Tolu spoke very slowly. Gloria, tell me you're joking. I looked through my windscreen. People People were leaving the wedding hall, laughing with their family. I took a deep breath. Then I said the word that would change my life forever. No, Tulu. I have never been more serious. I hardly slept that night. Every time I closed my eyes, I kept seeing the faces of my relative at the wedding. You are next. When are we buying your ashebi? You came alone again? The words echoed in my head like a broken record. By morning, I had made up my mind. Whether it is crazy or not, I was going to do it. The next afternoon, I met Tolu at a small restaurant in Lekki. It was one of our favorite places. Nothing too expensive, just a quiet place with good food and fresh fruit juice. As soon as I walked in, she looked at me and shook her head. I hope you have come back to your senses. I put out the chair opposite her and sat down. I haven't. She sighed. You still want to do this? Yes, I do. The waiter came over. What would you like to have, ma? I will have fried rice and grilled chicken and fresh orange juice. He turned to Tulu. The usual. She nodded. As soon as the waiter left, she folded her hands. So, explain this madness to me. I smiled. It isn't madness. I have thought about it. You have thought about it too much. I laughed. Tolu, I am serious. So am I. What if this goes wrong? What if someone finds out? What if the man steals from you? What if he disappears with your money? She didn't stop. What if he embarrasses you in front of your family? I waited until she finished. Then I leaned forward. I have already decided. She stared at me for a few seconds. Then she sighed deeply. I can already see you are not changing your mind. I am not. So, what is the plan? I smiled. I will hire an actor. She blinked twice. An actor? Yes, not just any man. Someone who knows how to play a role. She slowly nodded. That actually makes more sense. I know. I will interview them first. I won't just pick anybody. Tolu pointed at me. Good, because if you're going to do something this crazy, at least do it wisely. We both laughed. For the first time since the wedding, I actually felt a little lighter. That evening, I created an advert on a trusted casting website. It read, Male actor wanted for a private family project. Age 33 to 40. Must be confident, well spoken, good appearance, comfortable acting as a fiance and husband during family events, good payments guarantee. Within 24 hours, my phone wouldn't stop ringing. Messages poured in. Some sent professional photographs, some sent short introduction videos. Others simply wrote, I can do it. I spent almost 3 hours reading applications. By the end of the night, I had selected 4 men. I sent each of them the same message. Thank you for applying. I do like to meet you in person before making my final decision. 3 days later, I met the first applicant. His name was Chinedu. I arrived at the restaurant 10 minutes earlier. I wanted to observe people as they walk in. A few minutes later, a tall man wearing a fitted blue shirt entered the restaurant. It looked exactly like his picture. Fair, handsome, well built. He smiled as soon as he saw me. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. You must be Gloria. Yes. And you are Chinedu. We shook hands and sat down. At first, everything seemed perfect. He spoke confidently. He smiled often. He had a neat haircut. Even his perfume smelled nice. I smiled to myself. Maybe this wouldn't be so difficult after all. The waiter brought our menu. After placing our orders, I decided to ask a few questions. So, Chinedu, tell me a little about yourself. He smiled proudly. My name is Chinedu. I dey run one very big business for Lagos. I nodded politely. Oh, really? I dey import many things. Business dey move well. The more he spoke, the stronger his accent became. There was nothing wrong with his accent. It was simply very strong. Then I imagine him standing in front of my uncle's reintroduction. One uncle asking, "So, young man, how did you meet our daughter?" And Chinedu replied, for 5 straight minutes, while my entire family struggled to understand him. I almost laughed. I quickly covered it with a cough. He looked at me. "You dey okay?" "Yes, I am fine." We continued talking. He was actually a very kind man, respectful, honest, but after almost an hour, I already knew he wasn't the one. When we finished eating, he smiled. "I hope I get the job." I smiled warmly. "Thank you for coming. I will get back to you." He stood up. "It was nice meeting you." "You too." As soon as he left, I picked up my phone. Tolu answered immediately. "So?" I laughed. "He is handsome. That's good. He is polite. Even better. So what's the problem?" I busted into laughter. "Tolu, what?" If my uncle asked him one question, they will need subtitle. Then Tolu started laughing so hard that she almost dropped her phone. "You are a bad person." "I am serious. It was actually very nice. So why are you rejecting him?" I looked through the restaurant window as Chinedu drove off because I need someone who can walk into any room and make people believe the story without anyone asking questions. "So, he is not my fake husband." Tolu laughed again. "Only you would reject a man because of subtitles." I smiled. One meeting down, three more to go. Little did I know the second meeting will be far worse. By the time I got home that evening, I was exhausted. I kicked off my heels, dropped my handbag on the dining table, and stretched out on the sofa. A few seconds later, my phone rang. It was Tolu. "I have been waiting for your call," she said. "I know. So, when is Mr. Subtitle rejection letter going at?" I laughed. "Tomorrow." This isn't just about hiring a man. It is about hiring someone who can convince my entire family. I nodded. "See, I have worked too hard to build my life. So the man standing beside me couldn't just be anybody. He had to look like someone people would naturally believe I had fallen in love with. Someone who matches my personality." Tolu chuckled. "Fair enough. So, who is next?" I look at the note I had written in my diary. "His name is Kule. Meeting is tomorrow by 1 o'clock. I wish you luck. I think I will need it." The following afternoon, I arrived at another restaurant. This one was slightly bigger than the previous one. Soft music played in the background while waiter moved from one table, serving customers. I checked my wristwatch, 12:58 p.m., right on time. 2 minutes later, a man walked. He wore a neatly ironed white shirt with black trousers. He smiled politely. "You must be Gloria." "Yes." "You are Kunle." He put out the chair opposite me. "It's nice meeting you." "You too." So far, everything was going well. He spoke good English. He was calm. He carried himself well. I slightly thanked God. Maybe this one would finally work. The waiter came over. "Good afternoon, sir." "Good afternoon, ma. What would you like to order?" Kunle barely looked at the menu. "Bring me your special fried rice and 2 pieces of chicken. Extra plantain." The waiter nodded. Then looked at me. "I will have jollof rice with grilled fish and a bottle of water." Certainly. As we waited for the food, we talked. "So what do you do?" I asked. "I am an event planner." "Oh, that explains why you applied." He smiled. "I have attended many weddings. I know how to blend in." That impressed me. Then the food arrived. Everything changed. The waiter had barely placed the plate on the table before Kule picked up his spoon. Without saying a word, he attacked the food. I blinked. Maybe he was just hungry. Within seconds, the rice started disappearing. He wasn't eating. He was competing with the food. He scooped huge spoonful into his mouth. chewed loudly, reached for the chicken, finished one piece in what felt like 30 seconds, then immediately grabbed the second one. Oil stained the corner of his lips. He wiped it with the back of his hand. I slowly lowered my spoon. He looked up. Aren't you eating? I am. You should hurry, he smiled. The food is really sweet. I forced a smile. I can see. Then he called out across the restaurant. Boss! The waiter hurried over. Yes, sir. Bring another plate of plantain and make it fast. Several people turned to look at our table. I wish I could disappear. A few minutes later, he finally leaned back in his chair. That was nice. Then he looked at my untouched plate. You don't eat much, do you? I do. I just like taking my time. He laughed. My younger sister always said the same thing. I smiled politely, but inside, I already knew this interview was over. After we said goodbye, I sat in my car for almost a minute before driving away. The moment I entered my apartment, my phone rang. Tolu. She didn't even greet me. Well, I dropped into my sofa. I have survived. What happened? I took a deep breath. You know how people say, eat like you have home training. Yes, he ate like someone was chasing him. Tolu burst into laughter. No, I am serious. He finished two plates before I was halfway through mine. She laughed even harder. And then he shouted across the restaurant for more plantain. No. Yes, everybody looked at us. By now, Tolu was laughing so much she could hardly breathe. Gloria, are you sure you are not making this up? I wish I was. After she calmed down, she asked. So, my fist and furious. I laughed. Rejected, she goggled. It was time to meet the third man. Tolu called me that morning. Any expectation? I have stopped expecting anything. Good. That way you won't be disappointed. I smiled as I picked up my handbag. I will call you after the meeting. Please do, because at this point I need entertainment. I laughed and ended the call. As I drove towards the restaurant, I had no idea the third interview would leave me completely speechless. Every meeting taught me something new, and every rejection reminded me that finding the right person wasn't going to be easy. I wasn't looking for the richest man or the most handsome. I just needed someone who could walk into a room, stand beside me, and make everybody believe we belong together. That wasn't too much to ask. Apparently, yes. My third meeting was scheduled for Saturday afternoon. The restaurant was only 15 minutes from my apartment. Before leaving the house, I stood in front of my mirror one more time. I wore a simply cream blouse tucked neatly into a pair of white trousers. Nothing too flashy. I tied my hair into a neat ponytail, applied a little makeup, wore a pair of small golden earrings, and picked up my brown leather handbag. As I reached for my car keys, my phone rang. Tolu. Good luck, she said immediately. I laughed. I haven't even left the house. I know. I just wanted to remind you. If you start eating too fast, run. I burst into laughter. I promise. And if he had another impossible asset, I will call you. We both laughed before ending the call. The restaurant wasn't very busy that afternoon. Soft jazz music played through hidden speakers. A young couple sat by the window, an elderly man quietly reading a newspaper while drinking coffee. I checked my phone. The man's name was Emeka. Our meeting was 2 p.m. At exactly 2 o'clock, someone walked through the entrance. At first, I thought there was a wedding happening nearby. The man wore a bright navy blue senator outfit decorated with heavy gold embroidery. His shiny black shoes reflected the restaurant's light. He carried a walking stick, not because he needed one, but because he believed it complemented the outfit. On his wrist was a large gold wristwatch. Around his neck hung a thick gold chain. I blinked. Then I blinked again. No, surely not. He smiled proudly and walked towards me. Good afternoon. His voice echoed across the restaurant. Every head turned. You must be Gloria. I stood up slowly. Yes, I am Emeka. It's a pleasure. We shook hands. As we sat down, I couldn't stop looking at his clothes. He noticed. What do you think? I forced a smile. You look, I searched for the right word. Very dressed. He laughed badly. I like making an entrance. I can see. I believe first impressions matter. They certainly do. The waiter arrived with the menus. Before I could say anything, Emeka smiled at him. My brother, before we order, how do I look? The waiter looked confused. You look fine, sir. Emeka nodded badly. Thank you. I slowly took a sip of water. Maybe, just maybe, the clothes were the only problem. We began talking. He was friendly, very confident, almost too confident. So I asked, have you done acting before? Oh, yes. I acted in my church drama once. Oh, what role? I was King Solomon. I still have the costume. I smiled politely. I can imagine. Then he leaned forward. You know, if I become your husband, I will make everybody jealous. I nearly choked on my water. My husband? He nodded confidently. I mean, for the event. Or he winked. You never know. I laughed awkwardly. The conversation continued, but my mind had already made its decision. All I could picture was him standing beside me at my wedding. My auntie would forget the bride completely. Everyone would be staring at his outfit. When the meeting ended, Emeka stood outside the restaurant and adjusted his cap proudly. It was wonderful meeting you. You too, I replied. I will let you know. No problem. He smiled. I already have a good feeling. I smiled back. I will be in touch. As he walked away, I immediately reached for my phone. Tolu answered before the first ring finished. So, I didn't speak. I just started laughing. Gloria, talk to me. Tolu. Hmm. If I marry this man, my family won't remember my wedding. They will remember his clothes. What? He came dressed like the chairman of the occasion. Tolu laughed. What do you mean? He wore a complete senator outfit with embroidery, a walking stick, chain, a gold chain. The shoe so shiny, I could see my reflection. Then Tolu exploded into laughter. No, I am serious. I thought he was attending a wedding. She laughed until she started coughing. Oh my goodness. So rejected. I smiled. Very rejected. She sighed dramatically. My friend, at this rate, you will interview the whole Lagos. I leaned back on my sofa. There is only one person left. She became quiet. What if it turns out to be worse? I don't know, but something tells me I should still give him a chance. Hence, I will place the advert again. You mean this thing? No, Tolu said. That evening, I opened my laptop and I looked at the last profile again. Name Tunde Adebayo, age 36, occupation business consultant. His profile picture was simple, no expensive clothes, no flashing pose, just a calm smile. For some reason, I couldn't stop looking at it. I clicked on his introduction video. He looked directly into the camera and said, Hello, my name is Tunde. I am 36 years old and I work as a business consultant. I do describe myself as calm, easy to get along with, and dependable. When I commit to something, I see it through. Thank you for taking the time to watch my introduction. If chosen, I will do my best to make your project successful. That was all. I closed my laptop and smiled to myself. For the first time, I wasn't nervous about an interview. Instead, I was curious. I had no idea that meeting Tunde would change the course of my life forever. The following Tuesday couldn't come fast enough. For some reason, I was looking forward to meeting Tunde. Maybe it was because his introduction was simple, or maybe after three disappointing meetings, I just wanted this whole thing to be over. Either way, I left my office earlier than usual. I got home around 3 p.m. My meeting with Tunde was 5 p.m. Unlike the previous meetings, I actually took my time getting ready. I walked into my bedroom and opened my wardrobe. After looking through several dresses, I settled on a simple red knee-length dress. It wasn't expensive, but it fitted me perfectly. I stood before the mirror and carefully brushed my shoulder length hair. Then I applied a light shade of lipstick, not red this time, just something natural. I sprayed my favorite perfume on my wrist and neck, picked up my cream colored handbag, looked at myself in the mirror, then smiled. You are only meeting someone for business, Gloria. So why are you smiling? I shook my head and laughed at myself. The restaurant overlooked the Lagos Lagoon. The evening breeze blew gently across the outdoor certain area. People sat quietly, talking over coffee and dinner. It was peaceful. I arrived 10 minutes earlier. As usual, I checked my phone. 4:57 p.m. 3 minutes to go. Just then, someone walked towards my table. I looked up. It was him, Tunde. He wore a plain white long sleeve shirt with his sleeves folded neatly at his elbow, dark navy trouser, brown leather shoe, a simple wristwatch, nothing flashy. Yet, he somehow stood out. He smiled. Good evening. His voice was calm and confident. Good evening. You must be Gloria. Yes, you must be Tunde. It is nice to meet you. He stretched out his hand. His handshake was firm but gentle. The waiter came over. Are you both ready to order? I nodded. I will have the coconut rice and grilled chicken. The waiter turned to Tunde. And you, sir? Tunde looked at the menu for a second. Same thing. I laughed. You didn't even look properly. He smiled. If the food is bad, I will know who to blame. I couldn't help laughing. After the waiter left, there was a brief silence. Then he looked at me. So, do you always interview people over dinner? I smiled. Only the ones applying to be my husband. That made him laugh. For the first time since he sat down, I relaxed a little. Then I asked, so why did you apply? He struggled. Honestly, I saw the advert and thought, this can't be real. I was curious about the advert, about the woman behind the advert. I look at him and he smiled. I am still trying to figure her out. There was something about him. He just felt easy to talk to. And after meeting three different men that week, Easy felt surprisingly nice. Our food arrived. For a few minutes, we simply ate and talked. Nothing serious, just small things. Work, traffic, the restaurant. At one point, Tunde accidentally dropped his fork. I expected him to call the waiter. Instead, he bent down, picked it up himself, and asked for another one. It was a small thing, but after the men I had met that week, I noticed it. And after we had finished eating, he looked at me for a moment, then asked calmly, why? I looked at him. Why what? Why are you doing this? The question caught me off guard. I opened my mouth, but no words came out because how could I explain it? Because I wanted my family to stop asking questions, because I wanted to feel accepted for once. None of those reasons sounded good enough. I looked away. It's a long story. He nodded. I have time. Something about the way he said it made me feel comfortable. So, for the first time, I told someone everything. I told him about the endless phone calls, my aunties, the family gatherings, the embarrassment at Amara's wedding, how I cried alone in my car, and how I had reached the point where pretending those questions weren't affecting me was becoming harder than telling a lie. He signed softly, I am sorry. Then he looked at me. So, will you do it? How exactly do you want this to work? He asked. I pulled a folded notebook out of my handbag. I actually made a plan. His eyes widened slightly. You came prepared. I had to. He laughed. Can I see it? I handed him the notebook. The first page read, Project Husband. He couldn't help smiling. You even gave it a title. I covered my face. The plan was simple. Week one, he would start visiting me after work. Sometimes we do go out for dinner where people could see us. We would take few pictures together. Nothing romantic, just enough for people to believe we are dating. Week two, he would come to my office with lunch once or twice, just enough for my colleagues to notice. Week three, he would meet my close friends, especially Tolu. After that, he would visit my parents, then my uncles and aunties. Finally, we would announce our engagement a few months later. The wedding. After the wedding, the agreement would end. He closed the notebook, then looked at me. I will do it. For a second, I wasn't sure I heard him correctly. Will you? I will do it. Relief washed over me. Thank you, I said. That evening, I drove straight to Tolu's apartment. The moment she opened the door, she looked at my face and smiled. Don't tell me. I found him, I said. She gasped. The fake husband. I nodded. I think this one can actually pull it off. Tell me everything, Tolu said. For almost an hour, I told her about the meeting, every detail. When I finished, she looked at me and laughed. So, when do rehearsal start? Tomorrow. At the time, it sounded like an ordinary conversation. I had no idea it was the beginning of a lie that would soon become bigger than both of us. The last guest had finally left. The music had stopped. The house was quiet. Just me and today. I smiled. Thank you. You really did a good job. He nodded. I am glad. I took an envelope from my handbag and handed it to him. The balance. He counted the money, then slipped it into his pocket. I smiled. I guess this is goodbye. He didn't move. Instead of picking up his traveling bag, Tunde calmly removed his suit jacket. He folded it neatly, placed it on the arm of my sofa. Then he sat down comfortably. I frowned. Tunde, he looked at me. I am not leaving. I laughed. Stop joking. I am serious. The smile disappeared from my face. What do you mean? I have changed my mind. Our agreement was for one day. I know. Then why are you still here? He looked at me calmly. Because I think you owe me more. I stared at him. What? You heard me. I have met your parents, your colleagues, your friends. They all believe I am your husband. He leaned forward. If I walk out and tell them everything, what do you think will happen? A cold feeling ran through my body. You wouldn't do that, he smiled. Try me. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. You want more money. I want a lot more. And if I refuse, he stood up slowly. Then tomorrow morning, your parents will know the truth. My legs suddenly felt weak. I stared at him, the man I had carefully chosen, the man I thought I had everything figured out. I didn't even know who he was. Tunde, my voice shook. Please don't do this. He looked at me without a trace of emotion. Then, don't make me. Silence filled the room. The wedding was over, but my nightmare had just begun. I slowly sank into the sofa. Tunde picked up his jacket, then looked at me one last time. I will give you until tomorrow. He walked to the door, opened it, then stopped without looking back. Think carefully. The door closed behind him. Rita had always believed that her life would truly begin the day she will leave Nigeria to the UK. She dreamed and fantasized about her life in abroad, that she spent hours watching videos of life in the UK. The beautiful streets, the
Wow,
clean
it's so beautiful.
environment, snow. To her, it looks like a different world. By the time she graduated from the university, she had only one goal, which is to leave Nigeria. But her boyfriend, David, had a different plan. Unlike Rita, David preferred to stay in Nigeria. After their graduation, Rita started applying for scholarship, while David, on the other hand, started applying for a job. After some time, David got a trainee role with a company in Lagos. Though the salary wasn't much, but he was excited about it. Rita, on the other hand, had not gotten the scholarship nor a job. One evening, Rita and David sat outside a small restaurant near Rita's house. I
I
think
think you
it
should
is
slow
good
down
you
with this your
quit the
UK thing.
UK thing and start applying for a job, David said. Rita frowned. What do you mean?
Is it because
Is
you
it
got a
because you
small
got a
job
small
that is why
job
you are
that is
talking
why
to
you're
me like
talking to
this?
me like this?
No,
No,
that is
that is
not
not
how I
how I
meant
meant
it.
it. I
I'm,
am just
I am
saying,
just
don't put
saying,
all your hopes
don't
there.
put all your hopes there.
Life is not
Life
automatically
is not
easy
automatically easy
because
because somebody
someone
enters abroad.
enter abroad. Rita shook her head.
You sound like
You
someone that
sound
has
like
given up.
someone that has given up. David
Rita,
signed.
that's not what I'm
Rita,
saying.
that is not what I'm
But
saying.
that is how it
But that is
sounds.
how it sounds. David looked at her quietly. I just don't want you to think that going abroad will solve every problem. Rita laughed. Easy for you to say. You have already found a job. From that day, their arguments became more frequent. Whenever David talked about building a life in Nigeria, Rita saw it as lack of ambition. A few months later, they broke up. Rita told herself she was choosing her future and she would not settle for less. She told her best friend Ada about the breakup, but Ada wasn't surprised. You really ended things, Ada asked. Yes, because he doesn't want to relocate. Rita crossed her arm.
I need
I need
someone that
someone
dreams
that
big.
dream big. Ada looked at her. Just remember that people don't become successful because of where they live. Now the same also everywhere. A few months later, Rita got the news that she had been waiting for. Her scholarship visa was approved. The day she got the email, she screamed so loud that her mother rushed into her room. What happened? Mommy, I got it. Got what? Her mother asked, as she did not get what Rita is saying. I got my scholarship visa approved, Mama. She screamed in excitement. The entire house erupted with excitement. Her uncle was even more excited. My daughter, once you enter UK, our suffering is over. Everybody laughed. For the first time, Rita felt her dream was finally becoming reality. Before leaving Nigeria, she didn't tell anybody, including her best friend Ada. Some of her friends only discovered she had traveled after seeing airport pictures she posted online. In her mind, she was entering a new chapter of her life, a better chapter. The first week in the UK felt magical. Everything looked beautiful. The roads, the double decker buses, the trains, the tall buildings. She took pictures everywhere and posted on her social media, and people flooded her comment section. Girl, you have made it. Enjoy your new life. Don't forget us when you become rich. I beg, show us road now. Rita smiled each time she read those comments. But after the excitement faded, reality arrived. The first shock was accommodation. The room she rented was so small that she could barely move around comfortably. She shared the apartment with strangers. The rent alone made her heart skip. One night, she sat on a tiny bed staring at the ceiling. Back home in Nigeria, her room was bigger than this. So many thoughts run through her mind as she was lost in thought. Her roommate Kemi noticed. You will get used to it, Kemi said. Rita forced a smile. Kemi laughed. You thought life here was soft. Rita smiled weakly. Maybe a little. Kemi laughed harder. Welcome to reality. Kemi worked two jobs. Most days she left before sunrise and returned late at night. Sometimes Rita wondered if Kemi ever slept. Soon she understood why. Although Rita had a scholarship, it didn't cover everything. There was rent, food, transportation, bills, internet, books. Every week, money disappeared from her account faster than she expected. And soon she is going to run out of money. She needs to get a job to survive. So she got a part time job cleaning offices at night and a weekend job as well. Some days she finishes classes and went straight to work. She returned home exhausted, then wake up a few hours later for school again. The circle never seemed to end. School, work, sleep, repeat. School, work, sleep, repeat. Weeks turned into months. The girl who once dreamed about enjoying life abroad now spent most of her time trying to stay awake. Then came winter. The cold was worse than she imagined. Some morning she stood at the bus stop wondering what exactly she had signed up for. The loneliness was even worse. Back then in Nigeria, there was always somebody around. Neighbors, friend, family, noise, laughter, life. Yeah, people went to work and returned home. Everybody seemed busy. One evening, Rita sat alone in her room, scrolling through old pictures. She suddenly missed things she never thought she would miss. The sound of generators, street vendors, her mother's voice from the kitchen, even Lagos traffic. Then her phone rang. It was her cousin. Hello, sis. How are you? I'm fine. Please,
Hello,
school fees
sis.
issue
How are
has come
you?
up. Rita closed her eyes. She already knew where the conversation was going. Over time, more requests came. One needed help with rent. Another needed money for treatment. Another wants support for business. Whenever Rita explained that things were difficult, the response was always the same.
But you're in
But you are
UK.
in the UK. Nobody understood. They only saw the pictures online. They didn't see the stress, the anxiety, the night she cried quietly. At school, Rita became friends with another Nigerian student named Tunde. Tunde had been in the UK longer. One day, he noticed she was tired. Are you okay? Rita laughed. I am not sure. Tunde nodded. I understand. For the very first time, somebody truly understood. They became good friends. Tunde taught her how to budget properly, how to find cheaper transportation, how to manage work and studies. Without that friendship, Rita wasn't sure she would have survived. One evening during a care home shift, Rita met an elderly woman named Margaret. Margaret lived in a beautiful house. She had money, comfort, security, yet nobody visited her. One day, Margaret held Rita's hand. My dear, where is your family? Nigeria. Margaret smiled sadly. Mine are all here, yet I barely see them. That statement stayed with Rita for days, for weeks, maybe even months, because it made her realize something. Life was difficult everywhere. The struggles were just different. One cold evening, almost 3 years after leaving Nigeria, Rita opened social media and saw something unexpected. David, her ex boyfriend. He was smiling beside his wife. They just welcomed their first baby. She kept staring at the picture, not because she wanted him back, but because she remembered how convinced she had been that he was making a mistake by choosing to stay in Nigeria. She clicked through more photos. David had completed his training, built a stable career, bought a car, started a family. Rita sat quietly. For years, she had viewed life in a simpler choice: leave Nigeria and succeed, stay and struggle. Now she realized life wasn't that simple. That night, Rita stood by her window, looking at the city light. She thought about the girl she used to be, the girl who believed that happiness was waiting for her in another country, the girl who thought success came with a visa. She smiled softly. The UK had changed her life, but not in the way she expected. It had not made her rich overnight. It had not removed her problems. It had not given her happiness automatically. What it had given her was something different: perspective, maturity, wisdom, and understanding that wherever you go in this world, you will still have to work, sacrifice, struggle, and grow.
I said, give me your phone.
Femi, please, you're hurting me.
Who are you chatting with?
Nobody, I swear.
Liar.
Daddy, carry me.
Aha, big boy like you?
I'm still your baby.
Okay, come.
Baby, stop. You're embarrassing me.
My wife deserves the best. Roses everywhere, luxury restaurant, expensive.
Mommy, Daddy promised me ice cream yesterday.
Did he buy it?
No.
I came home late now.
You always say that.
Kunle,
Hmm?
have you ever planned something romantic for me before?
Like what? Amaka, I try my best.
That's the problem. Your best feels ordinary. See, love.
I passed that bakery you like today.
That's why you're smiling like this?
I bought your favorite.
Cake is not romance.
Babe, come out with us tomorrow. Where? Shopping now. Life no suppose hard.
Pick the gold one.
This one is expensive.
So,
Baby, you spend too much.
that's my wife.
You deserve soft life too, babe. Maybe. Don't settle for less.
You've been acting strange lately.
Maybe I'm tired.
Of what?
This marriage. Everything feels repetitive.
So because I'm not rich like Femi,
I didn't say that.
but that's what you mean.
You're still watching those videos?
At least somebody's husband knows how to make his wife happy.
Amaka, do you even hear yourself anymore?
Chioma and her husband are traveling to Dubai tomorrow.
Boss, you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Dubai, Bobby!
Anything for my baby.
God, I beg.
I saw these on my way home.
Flowers?
You said I don't try.
Color, this one looks forced.
So what exactly do you want from me?
Mommy, are you angry with Daddy?
Why would you ask that?
You don't laugh with him anymore. Did Daddy do bad thing?
Kule, you're too quiet, oh?
My brother no sabi enjoyment.
Why do you keep embarrassing me in front of people?
I didn't embarrass you.
You compare me to another man every single day.
Because he acts like he values his wife.
You think you know their life?
Why are you angry?
Who was that man liking your picture?
It's just Instagram.
Shut up!
What's going on?
I need space
Space from your family?
from this life.
Wow. After everything I do for you.
I didn't ask you to suffer for me.
Suffer?
I'm unhappy, Kunle.
Because I'm not rich enough?
Because you don't make me feel loved.
I gave you peace.
Mommy, where are you going?
I'll be back soon, baby.
Are you and Daddy fighting?
No, baby, it's complicated. Welcome to Soft Life. Your house is beautiful. This is the life every woman deserves. Forget stress. Enjoy life.
Maybe I settled too early. Exactly. Gus?
Chioma, are you okay?
Yeah, excuse me.
Who are you talking to? Nobody!
How could you do this?
Please, let me explain.
Explain what? The lies?
No, please.
I'm leaving!
I'm sorry you saw that.
I tried.
Daddy, when is Mommy coming home?
Soon, okay?
Did she stop loving us?
What have I done?
Don't destroy your home chasing appearances. I thought I was missing something. Peace is expensive too. Most women realize it too late.
I need to go home. Go before pride stops you. I'm sorry. What is the matter, Chidinama? Why are you crying? Where's my child? Chidinama! Where is my baby? You betrayed me first. You broke our childhood promise by getting married and having a child before me.
I will throw you into this well and your mother will never know about it, Chidima said spitefully to the 4-month-old baby in her hands, the child that belonged to her best friend. This is the story of two best friends, Chidima and Zara. Chidima and Zara had been best friends since childhood. They were literally like sisters from different mothers. People had mistaken them for twins several times, even though they were not related by blood. They did almost everything together, almost every little thing. People even believed they would get married on the same day. This one that you two are this close, are you sure you people will not end up getting married on the same day? People would often ask. The two friends would simply laugh about it. One day, Chidima brought up the idea of making silly vows about it. Zara, let's promise each other that we'll get married on the same day and have our first babies at the same time, she said. Zara nodded excitedly. They locked their pinky finger as a promise and burst into laughter. Years passed, and this childhood dream remained nothing more than a fond memory. Until life happened. Zara ended up getting married first. Not only that, she also had her first baby before Chidima. Meanwhile, Chidima had neither gotten married nor had a child. She began asking herself why life seemed to favor Zara and not her. This is Story by Favour. Every story has a heartbeat. Let the story unfold. One afternoon, Chidima visited Zara's home. According to her, she simply could not wait to meet her goddaughter. Daniel, Zara's husband, was not around. He had traveled out of town for a business meeting. When Chidima finally arrived, the two friends hugged each other happily and exchanged pleasantries. My friend, you're looking so good, Chidima said to Zara. Motherhood is looking so good on you, she added with a smile. Finally, Chidima carried Zara's baby into her arms. Jesus, oh, see my baby, oh. This one looks so much like me, she said playfully. The two friends laughed. After a moment, Zara looked at her friend and smiled. Bestie, do you remember the vow we once made to each other? to wed on the same day and have our first child at the same time? Zara asked. Yes, so how silly we were. Things we did as children, Chidima replied. They both laughed, waving the memory off lightly. But behind those smiles lay hidden feelings that no one could dispel. As Zara laughed and played with her baby, Chidima stared silently. The childhood promise suddenly came rushing back to her. A strange bitterness settled in her heart, and for the first time she looked at her best friend as a rival instead of a sister. As evening approached, Chidima suddenly said she wanted to buy something. Zara, give me your baby. Let me go and buy something from Mama Nneka's shop. We will return soon, Chidima said. Trusting her friend completely, Zara gladly handed over her baby. We will be right back, Chidima assured her as she stepped out with the baby. The moment she stepped outside the house, her expression changed. The smile on her face disappeared, replaced by bitterness and spite. How could Zara give birth before her? How could she get married before her, when they had once vowed to do all these things together on the same day? Consumed by jealousy, Chidima changed direction. Instead of heading towards Mama Nneka's shop, she quietly walked towards an unfamiliar compound under the cover of darkness. If you have watched up to this point, please do hit the subscribe button and like the video. That will mean a lot to me. The night was silent. She moved carefully, making sure no one noticed her. Soon, she arrived at a lonely well seated far away from the nearby houses. She stared at the innocent baby in her hands. Then she spoke through clenched teeth. I will throw you into this well, and your mother will never know. Without giving it another thought, she threw Zara's baby into the well. The baby's cry echoed through a deep darkness. Chidima let out a loud, spiteful laugh. Now, let's see how you will keep making mouth and gallivanting because you have a child. Why I do not. Don't worry. By the time I am done with you, Zara, you will not recognize yourself any longer. She took one final look around to make sure no one had seen her. Then, like a thief in the night, she quietly tiptoed away into the darkness. When Chidima reached Zara's home that night, Zara was shocked to see that she had returned without her baby. Where is my child, Chidima? She asked immediately. Chidima instantly burst into loud cries. Wailing on the cold, tight floor, Zara stood there in confusion, watching her best friend roll on the floor in tears. What is the matter, Chidima? Why are you crying? Where is my child? Zara asked for the umpteenth time, her heart racing uncontrollably. Zara, some kidnappers are caught us on the way. They tried to take your baby away from me. I fought them with all my might and strength, but all to no avail. They even cut me with a knife, she said, showing Zara the wound on her tummy. Unknown to Zara, Chidima had used a knife to cut a small part of her own stomach so that blood would gush out and make her story believable. But I still failed. They took your child away from me, she cried, wailing on the floor so much that anyone would have believed her. Zara could not believe her ears. What she had just heard pierced her heart like thorns. She immediately broke down in tears, crying and asking God why such a thing had happened to her. That night, Zara cried herself to sleep. But each time she woke up, she had several nightmares and dreams of her baby being in serious danger. I am very, very sorry, Zara. I shouldn't have taken her out in the first place. This is all my fault. I am so sorry, my friend, Chidima cried while consoling her. I pray nothing happened to my baby. How will I break this news to Daniel? How? My baby. God, why? Zara kept lamenting and crying non-stop. That night, after Zara had finally gone to sleep, Chidima picked up her phone, sneaked out, and immediately dialed Daniel's number. "Hello, Daniel," she said into the phone. "Yes, Chidinma, this one you are calling me this time. Hope there is no problem. How is my wife?" Daniel asked. Daniel, "There is fire on the mountain," Chidinma said. "What do you mean by there is fire on the mountain?" Daniel asked. Daniel, "It's your baby, oh. Your baby is missing. She was kidnapped," Chidinma said. "What? Where? When? How?" Daniel asked, already worked up. "It's Zara, oh. Zara went to the nightclub and left your child all alone at home. That is how she was kidnapped," she said. "What? Zara went to a nightclub? But Zara has never been that type of person. What changed?" Daniel asked in confusion. "Eh? You say waiting? She has always been like that, oh. She only mellowed down because of you, so that you could marry her. She told me that it had been a long time since she went out to enjoy herself in the club, and also to rub body with another man, because you are not always around. I even advised her, oh. I told her not to do this thing, that you don't deserve this because you are a very good man. But she insisted that she must go, and that is how the baby got missing. Before she came back from the nightclub, the baby was gone," she explained. "You mean Zara went to a nightclub, leaving my child all alone at home, and my child was kidnapped?" Daniel asked again, already flaring up in anger and doubt. "Yes, so she didn't even want me to tell you that the child is missing. If you do not believe me, you can call her and ask her yourself about your child," she said. "I will do just that. Thank you very much, Chidinma. God bless you for telling me all this," he said. "My dear, what can I do? That is my best friend we are talking about here. If I see her going on the wrong path, I have to caution her regardless. You're welcome, my dear. Bye-bye," she said. She finally ended the call. Immediately she ended the call, she burst into a loud round of evil laughter. The following morning, Zara sat quietly, still mourning her child. Dark circle had formed around her eyes because she had spent the entire night crying, even in her sleep. Her phone suddenly started ringing beside her. She checked the caller ID. It was her husband, Danny. Her heart immediately skipped a beat. She had still not told him about what happened. What if he asked about their child? What would she say? "Hello, baby," Sarah said, trying to sound normal. "Do not baby me," Daniel's angry voice blazed through the phone speaker. "Where is my child?" he asked immediately. Zara was shocked to hear that he already knew. She wondered how he had found out. Nervously, she stammered. "I said, where is my child?" Daniel roared in anger. She what? She is missing," Zara finally replied. "So it's true, Zara. So it's true. You lost my child. Zara. Zara. What did I do to you? How could you do this to me and our child? How could you?" Daniel's breaking voice sounded through the speaker. "Baby, I am sorry. Please forgive me. The whole thing is just too
I said, give me
complicated,"
your phone.
she said, crying. "What is too complicated? That my child was kidnapped while you were just living your life?" he asked angrily. Even though Zara did not understand what he meant by that, she just kept crying and begging him to forgive her. "You know what? Before I come back to the house tomorrow, make sure you have packed your bags and left my house. Do you understand? I don't ever want to see you again near my house or my life," Daniel said before ending the call. Immediately the call ended, Zara burst into tears. "Chidinma, what am I going to do? Daniel wants to end our marriage. He said I should pack my things and leave this house," she cried. "Wait, what? Is he mad? Why would he say something like that? He didn't even care to know the full story behind the whole thing. Instead of him coming back so that you both can put heads together, and know how to tackle the situation and find your child. He is busy putting all the blame on you. Who does that? What kind of a husband is that? You see why I was warning you about this guy right from the first day. Now look at him. He's already showcasing his true color, Chidima said, while Zara cried even more. The following morning, Daniel arrived home first thing in the morning. When he arrived, he discovered that Zara was still in his house. He drove her away without caring to hear anything from her. He packed her belongings and threw them outside into the rain. Leave my house, he thundered. Zara cried throughout her journey to her best friend's place. When Chidima saw her, she immediately ushered her in. Wait, he did this to you? He threw you out of your matrimonial home under this rain? How dare he? How dare he do that? Chidima said, boiling with anger. He kept measuring things like club and phone that I don't understand, Zara said, crying in confusion. Don't mind him. I am sure he's just trying to give flimsy excuses so that he can have solid reason to throw you out of his house. I always know that guy did not truly love you. There was always something about him. Don't worry, my friend. You will get another man. A better man will come for you, and you will have more kids. Did you hear me? Chidima said as he consoled Zara. When she was alone, she gave a devilish smile. Very good. Very good. Zara, you are back to square one, just like me. You wanted to progress in life when I have not. Never. Over my dead body would such a thing happen. I am glad we are back now, bestie. For days, Zara lived in agony at Chidima's place. She could not believe that life could turn upside down for her within a second. Within a few days, just like that, she had lost her baby as well as her husband. Chidima tried as much as possible to console her in every way she could. Zara, crying and sulking here will do you no good. You have not eaten anything for the past few days. Now I am feeling more guilty seeing you like this. I shouldn't have taken your baby out that night. I am very, very sorry. It's all my fault. Please forgive me, Chidima said with a painful expression. No, Chidima, it's not your fault. You meant no harm. You even got wounded in the process of trying to fight for my child. I should be the one taking the blame. I just feel like I am a useless mother. Maybe Daniel is right. I am a very useless mother, Zara said, crying harder. Shh. You are not a useless mother, okay? You are not. Never say that to yourself again, Chidima said. Do not worry, my friend. Even if the whole world leaves you, I will always be right here with you. I am going nowhere, okay? She added. Zara smiled and hugged her. Thank you very much, my friend. Indeed, I never made the wrong choice by choosing you as my friend. I am glad our paths crossed, and I bless the day I met you. I sincerely do not know what I would have done without you in this trying time. Thank you so very much, Chidima, Zara said. Chidima hugged her even tighter. Best friends forever, Chidima asked, stretching out a picking finger. Zara crossed it with hers. Best friends forever, Zara replied with a smile. Behind Zara's back, Chidima gave a secret evil grin. One hot afternoon, Zara and Chidima were sitting outside the compound, licking oranges and talking randomly about different things when the gates to the compound suddenly swung open. Daniel barged in with a group of policemen. He was carrying the baby in his hands. Zara and Chidima looked in shock as they walked into the compound. When they got closer to them, they stopped. Officer, this is the woman who tried to murder my baby. Arrest her, Daniel said in commanding anger tone, pointing directly at Chidima. Zara's face froze in shock. A few days earlier, Daniel sat in his house, thinking about everything that had happened. He tried as much as possible not to think about his wife and the baby, but every single second, his mind kept going back to them. There is something off about this whole thing, he thought, but he could not place his finger on exactly what was wrong. Was I too harsh on her? Maybe I shouldn't have thrown my wife out like that. Maybe I should have listened to her, he thought. He did not know why he kept regretting his actions, even though he believed she deserved every little thing he had done because what she committed was grave. He was still in deep thought when the gates to his compound opened and an old woman walked in with their baby in her hands. Who is the old woman? How did she get the baby? Stay with me and you will find out as the story progresses. Daniel was shocked to the core. At the sight of his child, he sprang to his feet immediately. What are you doing with my child? Where did you find her? How did you find her? Daniel bombarded her with questions all at once. The old woman began to narrate everything to him. She explained how she had been on her way to the stream that night to wash her clothes when she passed by the forbidden well and saw Chidima carrying a baby in her arms. Before she knew what was happening, Chidima had thrown the baby into the well, muttered some words and sneakily walked away. The old woman said that immediately after Chidima left, she rushed to the well. Using a bucket, she drew the baby out and hurried home with her. According to her, the baby had swallowed a lot of water and had been on the verge of death. She did everything within her power to save the child. She treated the baby with several herbal medicines until she finally recovered. Daniel immediately broke down in tears. Tears of regret and guilt. After hearing everything that had happened, he held his baby tight and thanked God for not allowing her to die. Then he thanked the old woman and promised to reward her. At that moment, he vowed to make sure Chidima rotted in jail. He immediately took a cab and within a few minutes, he arrived at Chidima's compound with the baby in his hands and several policemen present. What? What do you mean, babe? How did you find our baby? What are you talking about? You are getting it all wrong, baby. Chidima did not try to kill our child. In fact, she tried to save our baby, and she even got wounded in the process, Zara said, innocently in Chidima's defense. Daniel immediately shook his head. My love, your best friend has been lying to you. She has been lying to us, he said, before immediately narrating everything the old woman had told him and the lies Chidima had fed him that made him chase Zara out of his house. After Zara heard everything, she was shocked to the core. Chidima, are all this true? How could you? You were like a sister to me. Why would you do something like that to me? Zara asked, tears clinging to her eyes. But Chidima did not even flinch or try to pretend. You betrayed me first, she replied.
You broke.
What do you mean? Zara asked.
By getting
You went
married,
ahead
you
to get
child
married
for me.
and have a child when I had not. You broke our vows. How could you progress when I had not yet progressed in life, Zara? You are a witch, a devil. You deserve all these things I did to you. In fact, I really wish your child was dead so that you could suffer even more. God saved you, she said spitefully. Throughout her confession, Zara's mouth remained wide open in shock. She could not believe everything she had heard from her own best friend, a woman she had considered a sister. Without wasting another second, Daniel ordered the policemen to arrest Chidima. In a blink of an eye, she was taken away. A few days later, Zara moved back into her matrimonial home, but not without Daniel apologizing to her several times before she finally forgave him. She was happy to have her baby back, and this time she promised herself never to entrust her child to anyone so easily again, no matter who it was. The couple also visited the old woman's house, but they could not find her. They even went around showing people the old woman picture, but none of them recognized her. Everyone said they had never come across such a woman in that area. I think God came through that old woman to save our baby, Zara said to Daniel after their fruitless search. Daniel nodded. Yes, that is true. Now I believe that God goes through people to help others. Thank you, Jesus, he said with a smile, looking up in gratitude. Zara did the same. The couple were finally at peace. They had their child back, and their bond had grown much stronger. They were grateful to God for giving them another chance, and this time they promised not to take it for granted. The end.
This special drink will make you intelligent, Alexa. Your father will be proud of you.
Take, drink it. It will make you know book, Auntie Joyce said, handing over a wine-colored drink. Alex was a little girl of about 15 years old who attended Golden Gate Secondary School. In her class, she was not among the brightest students. In fact, she struggled a lot with her studies and often found herself at the bottom of the class. No matter how hard she tried, it always seemed like nothing stayed in her head the way it did for other children. The worst part was not even her poor performance. It was the way her parents treated her because of it. They were never proud of her. Instead, they constantly scolded her and beat her whenever she comes back home with the last position. They compared her with her siblings at every opportunity, making her feel smaller and more worthless each passing day. Can't you see your sibling? Look at your junior sister. Look how intelligent she is. She comes first every time. But you? You come back home disgracing me with your last position all the time, Mr. Maxwell, Alex's father shouted angrily one evening. Honey, calm down. You will make her start crying now, Bridget, her mother said as she tried to calm him. Let her cry now. Is that not what she know how to do every time? You better do a DNA test and let's see whether this child is really mine, because I'm not sure she is. I don't give birth to dummies. My children cannot be dumb, not in my house, Mr. Maxwell said harshly. Those words pierced through Alexa's heart like sharp knives. Unable to hold herself together, she ran upstairs and burst into tears in her room. Imagine hearing those words from the one person whose approval you desperately want. Tell me in the comment section. Do you think words like this motivate a child, or do they destroy a child? Why did her father always talk down on her so much? What exactly has she done wrong apart from not being as intelligent as others? She cried deeply. It was too much for her to handle as a child. She remembered all the nights she had stayed awake, reading over and over again, trying so hard to understand her books, yet nothing seemed to stay in her memory. Even her siblings did not make things easier for her. They mocked and laughed at her, repeating the same hurtful words they had learned from their parents. Stay our last position queen, one of them would tease. Don't worry, maybe one day you will come second to the last, another will add, laughing. Alexia would always remain quiet, holding back her tears until she was alone. This is Story by Favour. Every story has a heartbeat. Let the story unfold. One evening, as she sat quietly on the staircase, she overheard her father speaking in the sitting room. It's like I will stop paying for her school fees. Let her go and learn a handwork instead. She cannot be wasting my money and resources on this rubbish she bring home all the time, Mr. Maxwell said. Alex froze. Her heart shattered into pieces as she listened. She quickly covered her mouth to stop herself from crying out loud. As a child, life was already becoming too painful for her. After school has ended, Alexia sat quietly in her classroom, blankly at her desk. Her classmates had all left, but she remained behind, lost in her thought. Just then, Auntie Joy, one of the teachers, walked up to her, gently placed her hand on her shoulder. "What is wrong, my dear?" she asked softly. At that simple question, Alexa broke down completely. She began to cry and hiccups as she poured out everything to her teacher. She told her about her struggles in school, her father's harsh words, and how alone she felt at home. Auntie Joy listened patiently, then smiled and pulled her into a warm hug. Then she said to her, "Come meet me tomorrow in my office after the school bell has rung. I have something for you that will help you." She smiled again and walked away, leaving Alexia both curious and hopeful. Alexia wondered what it could be that Auntie Joy was talking about. Auntie Joy was known to be a very kind woman. She was never strict or harsh, and all the students loved her deeply. However, what little Alexia did not know was that Auntie Joy had a hidden mission, a dark one. She had been sent to lure and initiate young children like Alexia into their kingdom. She would give them a bloody part soaked in water and present it as wine to them to drink. Alexia admired Auntie Joy because of her kindness and the way she spoke gently to people. It was something she had never experienced from her own parents. That Monday, after the last bell rang, Alexia quickly ran to Auntie Joy's office. As she walked down the hallway, her heart beat with a mix of excitement and nervousness. She secretly hoped it was not another textbook Auntie Joy wanted to give her. She had received enough of those already and they had never helped her. She got to the door and knocked gently. "Come in," Auntie Joy's voice came from inside. Alexia opened the door and walked in slowly. "Good afternoon, ma," she greeted politely. "Good afternoon, my dear. Sit down," Auntie Joy replied warmly. Alexia sat down, her eyes scanning the room curiously. "I have a drink for you," Auntie Joy said. Alexia's face lighted up with excitement. "Thank God," she whispered to herself, relieved that it was not a textbook. Auntie Joy then brought out a glass containing a red liquid and handed it to her. "Ma, what is this?" Alexia asked, looking at it carefully. "It is wine, my darling," Auntie Joy said with a smile. "But how will drinking wine help my current situation?" Alexia asked innocently. "This is not
This
ordinary
special
wine,
drink
my
will make
dear.
you intelligent,
This is
Alexa.
a very special
Your father
one.
will be
It
proud
will
of
help you and make you very intelligent like your pearls. Your father will start adoring you and he will not beat you again. Once you drink this 3 times each day, you will begin to see wonders," Auntie Joy said as she handed the glass to Alexia. "Wow!" Alexia exclaimed, her eyes widening with excitement. At this point, Alexia believed she had finally found someone who cared about her. Sadly, predators often hide behind kindness. Without wasting any time, she collected the glass and began to gulp down the content. "Drink, drink, my darling. Drink everything," Auntie Joy encouraged her with a smile. "But Auntie, this is bitter," Alexia complained, squeezing her face as she struggled to swallow it. "Yes, that is why it works," Auntie Joy replied calmly. Alexia forced herself to finish the drink. When she was done, she wiped her mouth and stood up. "Thank you, ma," she said gratefully. "You're welcome, my dear. Remember, you still have 2 more days to go so that the drink can start working. Make sure you come back here tomorrow and next, okay?" Auntie Joy said. Alexia nodded and happily left the office, feeling hopeful for the first time in a long while. Immediately Alexia left the office, Auntie Joy burst into loud laughter. "I can't wait for you to be initiated, my little naive Alexia," she exclaimed, her eyes gleamed with excitement. When Alexia arrived home that day, she did not come back with her father's car. When the driver came to pick them up from school, she was still in Auntie Joy's office, so they left her behind and went home without her. By the time she finally got home, her father was already waiting in the sitting room. "Where are you coming from?" Mr. Maxwell asked, his voice cold and sharp. Alexia opened her mouth to say something, but before she could utter a single word, she felt the sting of a whip land heavily on her back. "Ah!" she screamed, immediately bursting into tears. "You think you can go anywhere you like without informing anyone?" he shouted, striking her again. "I am so sorry, Daddy. I am sorry," she cried, but he did not listen. She cried and cried all through that afternoon. The pain from the whipping burned across her back, emotionally hot, made it even worse. When it was time for lunch, she refused to eat, coiled herself up on her bed instead. "Leave her alone," Mr. Maxwell said when Bridget tried to call her. "She is not hungry yet. Whenever she is hungry, she will surely come around." No one bothered her again. That night, Alexia was not feeling well at all. Her stomach hurt badly, and she kept going to the toilet over and over again. She was stooling continuously, and each time felt worse than the last. Her body grew weaker, and she lost all appetite. She could not even gather the strength to go downstairs for dinner, just as her father had predicted. This is the moment every parent should pay attention to. A sudden change in a child's behavior is never something to ignore. Anytime she managed to fall asleep, she would suddenly wake up with a sharp, unbearable pain in her stomach. "Ah, it hurts," she whispered to herself, clenching her stomach tightly as tears rolled down her cheeks. She did not tell anyone about it. She only lay there, crying quietly throughout the night. After a while, she slowly got down from her bed and went to her wardrobe. She brought out some paracetamol and took them. She has gotten used to keeping paracetamol in her wardrobe because there were times she felt sick and no one paid attention to her. She had learned to take care of herself the best way she could. The following morning, she woke up feeling weak but determined. She got dressed for school slowly. Standing in front of the mirror, she looked at herself and tried to smile. "So, just wait and see, Daddy. I will become very intelligent, even more intelligent than my sisters, and you will begin to love me more," she said softly to her reflection. The thought of Auntie Joy's red drink gave her hope. It was just 2 days more to go. When she came downstairs for breakfast that morning, the house was quiet. No one asked her why she did not come down for dinner the previous night. She had even lost a noticeable amount of weight overnight, but no one seemed to care. Bridget noticed it briefly, but only shrugged it off, assuming it was because Alexia had skipped her meals. Alexia at the dining table stared at the food in front of her. Surprisingly, she did not feel hungry at all. Her appetite had completely disappeared. Her family exchanged confused glances. They were surprised because Alexia had always been the foodie of the house. She loved food more than anyone else, and it was unlike her to ignore a meal. "Maybe she is just trying to make us pity her," one of her siblings whispered. "Or maybe she wants attention," another added quietly. They all thought the same thing, but none of them said it out loud. When Alexia got to school that day, she felt a strange mix of weakness and excitement. Despite how her body felt, her mind was fixed on one thing. She could not wait to drink Auntie Joy's red liquid again. She counted the hours, eagerly waiting for the final bell to ring. She just needed to complete the 3 days. Then everything would change. Then she would finally become intelligent. Then she would prove to her family that she could also be bright. After school that day, Alexia immediately ran to Auntie Joy's office in excitement and knocked on the door. "Come in," Auntie Joy said from inside. Alexia pushed the door open and stepped in. "Oh, my pretty baby girl," Auntie Joy exclaimed as soon as she saw her, spreading her arms wide in a warm, welcoming manner. For a moment, Alexia felt something she hardly ever felt at home. She felt seen. She felt wanted. "I guess you are here to drink the second glass of our wine, right?" Auntie Joy said with a knowing smile. Alexia nodded eagerly. "Yes, ma." Without wasting time, Auntie Joy bent slightly and brought out the drink from under her table. The same red liquid sat quietly in the glass, almost as if it was waiting for Alexia. She handed it over to her. Alexia collected the glass immediately and began to gulp it down, although she still squeezed her face in discomfort as it went down her throat. "Good girl," Auntie Joyce said, gently stroking Alexia's hair. Alexia finished the drink and wiped her mouth. "Thank you, ma," she said. "You're welcome, my dear. One more day to go," Auntie Joy replied. Later that day, Alexia once again missed her father driver, who came to pick them up. She had no other option but to trek home. The journey felt longer than usual. Her legs were weak and her body felt heavy, but she kept walking slowly until she finally reached home. As soon as she stepped inside, her father's eye fell on her. "Where are you coming from?" he barked. Alexia tried to explain, but just like the previous day, her words never came out. The weeping started again. "You want to turn yourself into a useless child, Abby? You want people to think I am not training you well," Mr. Maxwell shouted as he rained curses on her. Alexia cried bitterly, her voice echoing through the house, but no one came to her rescue. That night came, and just like before, she did not go downstairs for dinner. The pain returned. This time it was worse, far worse. A sharp, intense pain gripped her stomach, making her scream out loud. Alexia rolled on the floor of her room, clenching her stomach tightly as tears streamed down her face. "Ah, mommy," she cried weakly, but no one heard her. She kept running to the toilet again and again. It was not just stewing. She started vomiting. At first, it was just the little she had in her system. Then suddenly something terrifying happened. Blood. She vomited blood. Alexia froze for a moment, staring at it in shock. Her breathing became heavy and uneven. Her eyes grew dull. Her lips dried up, and her body became weaker with each passing second. She struggled to stay conscious. Meanwhile, in her parents' room, Mr. Maxwell sat comfortably on the bed, laptop, as he walked. Bridget, on the other hand, paced up and down the room restlessly. "Woman, what is it? You have been pacing up and down like a worked up lion. What is the matter?" he asked without looking up. Bridget stopped and turned to him, worry clearly written all over her face. "Don't you think we are taking it too far with Alexia? I don't know, but these days there is something about her that feels so off and not right at all. Plus, she has been refusing to eat for 2 days," she said. Mr. Maxwell sighed and shook his head. "Wait, is that what is seriously bothering you right now? You should know children by now. She is obviously refusing to eat so she can get our attention. She thinks she is smart, but I am smarter than her. I came into this world before her, and these are things we used to do to our parents back then. They are not new," he said. Bridget frowned. But she had never done this before. Alexia has always been the foodie. No matter the scolding and beating she received from us, she insisted. Mr. Maxwell finally looked up at her. "So, what exactly do you want me to do now? Should I go to a child's room and start begging her to come down and eat? Is that what you want? That is not the right way to train a child, madam. That is not how my parents trained me, and I will not allow that. Bia, woman, stop distracting me. If you want to keep pacing, go to the sitting room and do it there. I am working on a very important job I need to deliver to the client. Don't come and be stressing me with one child that does not want to hear word, he said, and returned his attention to the laptop. Bridget stood there for a moment, helpless and unsure of what to do. The following morning, Alexia did not come out for breakfast, and she did not come out for school as usual. The house carried on as if nothing was wrong. Everyone assumed she was still in her usual moody guest. This girl does not know me. Oh. She does not know that we used to do these tactics during our own time with our parents. She cannot buy me with such pittiness. Well, it is even good that she is not going to school anymore, if that is what she has decided. At least, thank God, the money I am spending on her school fees will stop wasting, Mr. Maxwell said at the dining table as he ate and wiped his mouth with his serviette. Bridget looked uneasy. But at least, shouldn't we just check on her? I mean, she said, her voice filled with concern for the first time. Madam, don't stress me, I beg. If you want to go, you can go. That is one thing I hate about you women. You are too gullible and emotional about a lot of things, he replied with a hiss as he stood up, picked up his bag and left for work. The children had already left for school. Bridget stood there for a moment, thinking about going to Alexia's room, but just then her phone started ringing loudly. She glanced at the screen and her heart skipped. It was one of her highly respected regular customers, already waiting for her at the shop. Hello, ma. I am on my way, she said quickly into the phone. In a rush, she picked up her bag and headed out. Please, keep an eye on Alexia. I will be back soon, she told the housekeeper hurriedly before leaving. The entire house slipped by without a single person realizing that something was terribly wrong. Later that night, the family returned home one after the other. The house felt unusually silent. Bridget dropped her bag and looked around. Has Alexia come out at all today? She asked the housekeeper. No, ma, the housekeeper replied nervously. She has not come out since morning. A cold feeling settled in Bridget's chest. Mr. Maxwell frowned. What kind of nonsense is this? He muttered as he walked towards Alexia's room. They all gathered in front of her door. Bridget knocked gently at first. Alexia, open the door, my dear, she called. There was no response. Mr. Maxwell knocked harder. Alexia, he shouted. Still nothing. They called her name again and again, but the silence that followed each call was heavy and frightening. Panic slowly began to creep. What if something has happened to her? Bridget whispered, her voice trembling. Mr. Maxwell quickly tried the door, but it was locked from inside. Move back, he said. He pushed the door hard, but it would not open. Call a carpenter now, he ordered. Within a short time, a carpenter arrived and began working on the door. Each hit of his tool echoed through the house, making everyone more anxious. Finally, the door gave way. As soon as it opened, a strong metallic smell hit them. They stepped inside, and then everyone screamed in horror. Alexia was laying on the cold tile of her room, surrounded by a pool of her own blood. Mr. and Mrs. Maxwell could not control the tears that streamed down their face that night as they rushed Alexia to the hospital. They were not just crying out of fear. They were crying out of guilt. They were crying out of regret. They were crying out of shame. Alexia was immediately rolled into the emergency ward, where the doctors began to work on her without delay. Mr. Maxwell stood outside, pacing up and restlessly. His hands trembled, and his mind replayed every harsh word he had ever said to his daughter. Bridget, on the other hand, could not stop crying. This is exactly what I was talking about. This is exactly what I was talking about. She kept repeating through her tears. God, please save my child. We are very sorry. Please save her. Hours passed slowly, each second feeling like forever. Finally, the doctor came out. Both parents rushed towards him immediately, their hearts pounding. Doctor, how is she? Bridget asked, her voice shaking. The doctor sighed. I am sorry. You brought her in too late, he said. Those words hit them like a heavy blow. Another wave of guilt and regret washed over them. We found some poisonous substance in her system. She had been consuming something that had severely damaged her body. At this point, I cannot guarantee her survival. It is a 50-50 chance, the doctor added. Bridget broke down completely. Mr. Maxwell stood frozen, unable to speak. For the first time in his life, he felt completely powerless. That same night, after leaving the hospital briefly, Mr. Maxwell returned home. Something pulled him towards Alexia's room. This was the first time he had stepped into her room since her 5th birthday. As he walked in, the silence felt heavy. Tears filled his eyes as he looked around. Then his foot hit something on the floor. He bent down and picked it up. It was a small book. On it was written, Alexia Little Diary. Curiosity mixed with guilt as he slowly opened it. Have you ever wondered what your child would write about you if they had kept a secret diary? As he began to read, a faint smile appeared on his face. Alexia has written about her daily life, her little joy, and how lucky she felt to have a family. But then a particular part caught his attention. My father called me a dullard every day and beat me. I also want to make him proud, just like my siblings do. I want him to see me in a different way. I want him to praise me just like he does for my sisters. But how can I do that when I am not smart? Sometimes I feel like I should not have been born. My classmates do not like me. My parents also dislike me. And my siblings do not pay attention to me. Oh God, please, what should I do? Mr. Maxwell could not hold himself anymore. He broke down completely, crying like a baby. Shame, guilt, regret, they all washed down on him at once. I have failed as a father, he whispered. As he continued reading, something else struck him. His daughter was not dull. Her writing was clear, expressive, and beautiful. Her thoughts were deep for a child her age. Her handwriting was neat and admirable. All she ever needed was guidance, love, and care. And they all failed to give her that. Tears blurred his vision as he turned the page. Today, Auntie Joy approached me and offered to help me solve my problems. She told me she had something for me. I thought it was a book, but when I got to her office, she gave me a glass of red liquid. She said it would make me very intelligent, even smarter than my classmates. I drank it even though it was bitter, because I want to make my daddy proud. I love you, Daddy, even though you don't know. Mr. Maxwell clutched the diary tightly to his chest. I love you too, my princess. Daddy is very sorry. Please forgive me, he cried. He turned another page. Ever since I drank Auntie Joy's drink, I have been feeling uncomfortable. I have lost my appetite, and I think I am getting thinner. Last night, I kept stooling and rolling on the floor in pain. Dear diary, what should I do? Should I tell my parents, or should I just keep quiet? I need to complete the 3 days so I can become smart and make my daddy love me. Everything became clear. Auntie Joy, he muttered. That drink, that was what caused everything. His expression hardened instantly. Who is this woman? He said angrily. Without wasting time, he stormed out and went straight to the school with the police. They searched for Auntie Joy and found her. She was immediately handcuffed. At the station, after intense questioning, she finally confessed. She revealed she was a witch sent to initiate young children, using blood from her menstrual pad mixed in water and gave to them as a drink. She explained that after 3 days of drinking it, the children would be fully initiated into their kingdom. Mr. Maxwell felt his body shake with rage. He wanted to attack her right there, but the policemen held him back. "My daughter, my little girl," he whispered, broken down in a heavy sobs. When Mr. Maxwell returned to the hospital and told Bridget everything, she was shocked, angry, and heartbroken at the same time. She blamed herself over and over again. "I should have listened. I should have checked on her," she cried. The guilt consumed both of them. Every night, they prayed beside Alexia's hospital bed, hoping she would wake up. Days passed. Nothing happened. Until one day, the doctor called them. "She is awake." They did not wait for another second. They rushed to her ward immediately. She stretched out her small hands towards them. "Mommy, Daddy," she called weakly. Tears filled their eyes as they rushed to her side and held her hands tightly. "We are so sorry, our princess. We are so sorry. We failed you," they said, crying. Alexia shook her head weakly. "I miss you both," she said softly. Mr. Maxwell nodded, tears rolling down his face. "I know, my princess, and I promise you this time, I will always be there for you. You are not a dummy, okay? You are my intelligent and beautiful princess, and I am so proud of you. I was blind before and I judged you wrongly. I am so very sorry. Please forgive me, darling," he said as he hugged her gently. Bridget joined them, holding Alexia close. From that moment on, everything changed. Mr. and Mrs. Maxwell became more attentive and loving parents. They made sure Alexia received all the care and affection she had missed. They transferred all their children to a better school. They hired a special tutor for Alexia and ensured she never felt left out again. Gradually, Alexia began to improve. Her confidence grew. Her grades became better, and her father could not have been more proud. Then he finally understood something important. Some children are not dumb. What they need is love, patience, care, and encouragement, not insult, comparison, or rejection. He had learnt his lesson, and this time he was determined to be a better father. The end. A single month. Every month, without fail, she sent money home. Then suddenly, the money stopped, and what her family discovered changed everything. Amara was the kind of daughter every family prayed for. Dark skin, beautiful, elegant, and always smiling.
Amara, I need that
Even
report
when life gave
finalized
her
now.
reasons not to.
Hurry up, we don't
She
have all
lived in
day.
Lagos, trying to survive like everyone
Get it done,
else.
Amara.
During the day, she worked in a small office. At night, she sold clothes online just to make extra money. Life wasn't easy for her, but she never complained. No matter what she was going through, she sent money back home. To her mother in Enugu, to her younger brother whose school fees depend on her. Even the food they ate came from Amara's sacrifice. And every time the money arrived, her mother would smile and say, "God will bless you, my daughter. You are the light of this family." And Amara would always reply softly, "Mama, I am just doing my best." Come. At first, her mother wasn't worried. Maybe it was network problem. But 1 week passed. Then 2. No alert. No calls. No messages. And numbers stopped going through. Food became scarce. That is when worry turned into fear. Her mother couldn't sit still anymore. She borrowed money and traveled to Lagos. The journey was long, uncomfortable, but her heart was heavier than the road itself. When she got to the address Amara gave them, the compound was quiet, too quiet. She knocked, no answer. She knocked again, harder this time, and looked at her with hesitation. Who are you looking for? My daughter Amara, she lives here. The neighbor paused, then sighed, and that sign alone said everything. You didn't hear? The neighbor asked softly. Her mother's voice shook. Hear what? Amara collapsed at the work about 3 weeks ago. Not eating well, always stressing herself. Where is she now? Her mother asked. She didn't make it. Her mother couldn't cry immediately. It was too heavy, too sudden, too unfair. Then the neighbor said something that broke everything completely. Even in her last week, she was still talking about sending money home. She said her family was depending on her. That was it. Her mother fell to the ground wailing, not just because she lost her daughter, but because she never knew how much she was suffering. Back in Enugu, life became quiet, painfully quiet. This time, no money was coming, only memories. Her brother eventually returned to school with help from others. But one thing never left their hearts. Amara gave everything, and no one ever asked if she was okay.
You were quiet throughout the wedding.
I'm fine.
Amara,
You heard them too.
ignore them.
How many years will I keep ignoring them?
Don't do this to yourself.
Everywhere we go now, it's the same question. When are we carrying baby? When are we eating rice? When will the family hear good news?
Amara, people must talk.
Your mother couldn't even hide her disappointment today.
My mother loves you.
But sometimes I feel like I'm failing everybody.
You're not failing me.
What if you eventually get tired of waiting?
Never. I married you because I love you, not because of children.
Where did the love go? Why you not trust me? After all the prayers we prayed together, now you look at me like
These days, women focus too much on career. That's why childbirth becomes difficult. If David married earlier, maybe by now.
Auntie, enough.
I'm only saying the truth.
Please pass the juice. Maybe God has forgotten me.
Don't say that.
Every month it's the same disappointment, every single month.
We'll keep trying.
What if I can never give you a child?
Then we grow old together without one.
You are saying that now just to make me stop crying.
No, I mean it.
David!
What happened?
I think I'm pregnant.
What? Pregnant? We're having a baby?
Yes. Look.
No way. It's positive.
Oh my God.
Hey, babe, we did it.
God has finally answered this family. See as my brother is glowing.
Leave me alone.
This child will bring great blessings.
Make some noise for baby Ethan. The child shall be called Ethan David Cole.
This boy's eyes look exactly like Amara.
My son resembles me perfectly.
Thank you.
Daddy! Carry me!
Come here, champ.
You're spoiling him too much.
That's my only son.
Mommy, look!
Wow. Good job.
Smile, my loves. Got the perfect shot.
Best family photo ever. Yay, beach fun.
This is paradise.
Forever with you two.
Sometimes I still can't believe he's really ours.
After everything we survived, he's our miracle.
Promise me we'll always protect this family.
Always.
Look carefully. That boy doesn't resemble David. Shh, I'm serious.
Guy, hope you're sure the boy is yours. What kind of stupid joke is that? Relax now. These things happen, especially wealthy men. Amara is not like that. That's what every man says.
You barely talk to me anymore these days.
It is because I'm tired.
You've been tired for weeks.
Can we not do this tonight?
Do what? Try to save my marriage?
Mommy, why is Daddy angry with me?
He's not angry with you.
Then why doesn't he play football with me anymore?
Daddy is just stressed.
Results will be ready in a few days.
Okay.
Are you all right, sir?
Yeah.
Where did the love go? Why you not trust me? After all the
No.
prayers we prayed
No.
together.
Probability of paternity, 0%. Possible avuncular relationship. Uncle, what the hell is this?
Dinner is ready.
Who is the real father of this child?
What?
Stop pretending.
David, what are you talking about?
The DNA says I'm not his father. Impossible. The test says I'm his uncle. Oh, child.
That doesn't even make sense. DNA doesn't lie. But I'm telling you.
Whose child am I raising?
Child.
Where did the love go? Why you not trust me?
Amara, just confess.
Confess what?
Nobody is judging you.
Really? Because everybody already looks at me like a criminal.
DNA cannot lie.
And neither can my conscience. You're moving into another room?
I need space.
After 6 years together?
I don't even know who you are anymore.
You look exhausted. I haven't slept properly in weeks. Do you want to tell me the truth? I am telling the truth. Then why are you doubting yourself? Because everybody else believes the test. Do you? No. That's the crazy part. I know I didn't cheat. Then maybe the test is missing something.
What do you mean? Let's get another specialist before this destroys your life completely.
Do either of you know what human chimerism is?
No.
What does that have to do with us? In extremely rare cases, a baby can absorb its twin in the womb.
What?
Meaning one person can carry 2 different DNA profiles.
Wait, what are you saying?
Your husband likely absorbed his twin before birth.
No!
Part of his reproductive DNA belonged to the absorbed twin. That's why the test interpreted him as the child's uncle. So he is still the biological father.
No, 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 no! What have I done? Oh, God!
Where did the love go? Why you not trust me? After all the prayers we prayed together, now you look at me like stranger. Mama they whisper, family they talk.
I destroyed
but
her.
My heart knows the
I destroyed
truth.
my own family.
DNA say one thing, but love see another.
I destroyed her.
Now the damage
I destroyed
done
my own
already.
family.
Apologies cannot heal all
I looked
wounds.
at my wife like she was disgusted, like she betrayed me. Meanwhile, she was innocent the whole time. And Ethan, how do I listen? Boy kept calling me daddy while I treated him like a stranger. That makes this now. Amara, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Amara, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Why you not trust me? After all the prayers
I'm sorry. I destroyed everything.
You didn't trust me.
I was confused.
You humiliated me.
family they talk.
I know.
You let your family destroy me.
Please forgive me.
Do you know what it feels like? To tell the truth with your whole heart and still sound like a liar? Amara, forgive me. When everybody accused me, nobody asked if I was okay. I thought I was protecting my son. And who protected me?
I'll spend the rest of my life making this right.
Some things never fully heal.
Please don't give up on us.